Hello again, fellow nerds. It is once more your game master, the Crypt Master. You'll notice the intro is a bit different this time. In our previous session, the video and audio of the other players was recorded, however, my own was not. So if you wish to listen to weird goblin noises coming from one of the players' microphones, long bits of silence, and people talking to someone you can't hear, then click the link in the description for that unedited video. As for what you missed if you choose to not watch it, the team takes on the giant bone golem that was summoned at the end of last session. They ride on their great mythical steeds to fight it in the skies and on the ground. It's not going too well, but when our resident bard tried to dispel the golem's core, they instead summoned the Twilight Crusader, this universe's Megazord analog. What results is a smackdown that would make any WWE enthusiast proud. They defeat the golem, purify its core, and go home for a good long nap. It's a bit of an overview, but it's essentially what happened last session. You can watch it if you wish. It'll be linked in the description. Otherwise, our normal intro bit will resume after this. If you've watched our previous sessions, you know what's about to happen. If not, it'll be linked in the description. You may skip the next bit to get into the action with a timestamp in the description or give it a listen at your discretion. Either way, I hope you enjoy the show, and if you are so inclined, give it a like and tell us how we did. This campaign is a tribute in memory to our dearly departed friend, Jason David Frank. Most well known for his acting as the Green and White Power Rangers through multiple different series, he created his own form of martial arts and even got inducted into the Karate Hall of Fame for it. It is in the spirit of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers that this campaign is a tribute to. This campaign is hosted through StartPlaying.Games and played using the Roll20 virtual tabletop system. Every person participating in the campaign requested to play the game from the website and have lives of their own outside it. The intent is to play every Saturday evening, but sometimes life gets in the way, so expect players to come and go as needed. They are aware and have consented to these sessions being recorded for entertainment purposes. This is a medieval fantasy take on Power Rangers, changing them from bodysuit martial artists into kitted out medieval knights in shining armor, from cool robots to cool mythological creatures, and from goofy science powers to fantastical magical ones, granted by their bonded mythical creatures. They are Grand Knights, appointed representatives from each of the 7 nations of this setting, are sent out into the world to smite evil, save the innocent, and get up to some nonsense. Again, I hope you enjoy the show, and I hope you have a blessed remainder of your day.
Caffeine makes me tired.
Oh, you
you're
probably
one of
have
those.
ADHDs.
Everyone says that.
No. I use it to self-medicate. So,
I
just
just don't want to go to
drink
bed.
4 to 5 monsters a day.
Oh my goodness.
Jeez.
that would put me
Yeah.
to sleep.
Yeah, I think I messed with my brain chemistry drinking that much, and then with the meds I was on, I think that's part of the reason why I fall asleep so often.
It's not narcolepsy.
Well, I think it's kind of like narcolepsy, but it isn't. It's just because narcolepsy is technically the overproduction or underproduction of it's some kind of sleep chemical. It's not cortisol, but it's similar to that, like that name. And yeah, basically my brain overproduces it and I get speepies.
BP. Fair.
Izumi, what are you striking at?
The
air.
sky.
He's performing the punchies?
I drank too much Coke.
Wait, in this timeline, we might actually have cocaine Coke to drink.
This is
that
medieval, like Europe.
No, we have rum.
I think medieval
Yes.
Europe had cocaine.
It's probably
No,
not called cocaine.
They had opium.
Oh, they had opium?
Opium
need
does
an opium-
exist.
Oh God,
We need
Clyde.
an opium beverage. What would be a fun opium beverage name?
PP.
Just just call it orange soda, but it's got opium in it.
That
Orange
entire
soda.
name.
Orange soda, but with opium in it.
Yeah.
There's two options. You can have orange soda, or you can have orange soda with opium.
In our other campaign that Crypt and I play in, one of our other characters is addicted to opium.
He's at least getting there.
You
In
say
one
that
of the
like it's a good thing.
Duh.
in one of the campaigns that I play with Crypt, one of the other characters used to be an alcoholic, but then turned himself into this weird AI goo and cannot get drunk anymore. So it's really ruining life for him.
My character used to be an alcoholic, but that's because of other reasons. And then she cold turkeyed alcohol after her goddess decided, hey, we're doing some shady shit over here. And she's like, nah, I'm done. Because drinking was part of, like, her religion, in a way.
Mm.
Well, I can't find where the list I made for the things that y'all had found inside of that there crypty thing.
Crypt, no!
There's only two things, other than, like, the fancy knife. That one I already gave you.
Knives.
Is it in the cool stuff
Did-
we did found? Nope, that's just...
Did we level up?
You did.
We
You
did.
should
We're
be
level 6.
Oh, fuck, I didn't do that at all.
Wow!
Me neither.
We've been sitting here since 7:30 and you've not even leveled up.
I
Jeez.
forgot.
Oh, I accidentally.
Well,
level
I'm just used to having 2 weeks to
15.
do anything.
But, Crypt, I was gonna ask you, am I allowed to multi-class?
You get one multi-class. That's what I was told.
Yeah, so you should be okay to multi-class now.
Hey.
I leveled up to level 16 on accident.
Bruh.
I'm just kidding.
Good job.
You're given one job.
All you gotta do is replace the 5 with a 6, and you screwed it up.
Instead I put a 1. Then a 6.
Okay, there's my extra attack. I don't remember if I did everything last time. I'm just gonna assume I did. I mean, I have 69 hit points with a plus 3 to my
frick.
constitution.
Why'd you roll 3 times?
So 8.
I didn't mean to roll it 3 times.
Wow.
That's all
I don't know, I just hit it. And
Yeah, I must have done it.
Hey, now I get sneak attack.
okay.
Hey, like the rest of us.
I don't have sneak attack.
Obviously
that's
he
your-
wasn't counting you.
Also, I'm sad I can't double expertise my stealth.
Yeah, no. It only does it once.
I know. Unfortunate.
Well, dang, now I have to find this stupid list again.
And we took a long rest in between?
You have essentially been leveled, or not leveled up, but like everything's back because we left combat and then went off to do other things. So recap, both for the fact that I've been recording for the last 6 minutes. So it caught just at the beginning of Loki saying something about not drinking soda anymore. We finished up with the cavern. You said hello to the very nice people at the end who decided to stab themselves with knives and then sacrifice themselves to make a cool bone golem. You then went through the rigorous process of beating the tar out of this bone golem. People at
And
home,
getting the car beat out of us.
people at home will wonder about why they don't get to see it. It's because it only recorded everybody else's voices, not mine. So yeah, should be okay now. It tested out earlier before, so keep your fingers crossed that nothing strange happens. You beat the tar out of the giant bone golem. 10 turns before the end of it was supposed to be. I anticipated that a lot more of you would have fallen by the time things happened. But then things happened, so yay, things. The Twilight Crusader showed up, aka the Megazord. You WWE'd it.
Yeah.
Starting
Yeah.
with a suplex and the people's elbow. And then ending with taking its core out and then crushing it. You have purified the bone golem's core by shooting a bunch of fire all over it.
Magical
Raging
fire.
hot magma.
Then flexing at it,
Uh-huh.
according. The Blue Knight substitute flexed at it really hard, and I glared at it, and that somehow helped.
Intend to die.
We rolled too high for you to deny it.
Uh-huh.
I love the fact that he's like, yeah, you did.
It's sad, but it's funny.
It was indeed funny. What else?
Oh, Izumi dropped it on his foot.
Yes, he did.
Yes.
You then had the. It's like I was trying to, not remember that.
I had
You
literally
were
forgotten.
in the process of getting your larger creatures to bring it back. I introduced the fame mechanic, where you are now.
We can get sponsorships.
You can, if you wanted to. Essentially, fame is a currency that you can use to get favors or try to achieve something that you might not have normally been able to achieve. The amount of fame required to do it is based off of my judgment, generally in groups of 5. You currently right now have a total of 15 fame. You have gone from known to well known. Whenever you use fame, it doesn't go away. Like the title doesn't go away, but the amount of fame does. So you won't suddenly go from world famous to famous just by spending a bunch.
Okay,
However,
but
if
the
you
first
start,
title we get has to be Chicken Chaser.
this is not Fable. So no.
Hey, Chicken Chaser.
Just don't kick the chickens.
I've never played Fable. Is it good?
It's very good.
Up until the 3rd one.
I enjoyed the 3rd one.
It went from good
You cut it-
to could be better.
Agreed.
When you had to manage the whole
You cut
kingdom,
out like right after the I enjoyed the, and I thought that Crypt had muted you. I was like,
Sounds
wow.
like him.
I was like,
The-
all the antics I get up to, and you get muted for enjoying Fable the Third.
Sounds about right.
Nah,
I don't think that sounds like him at all. I was really surprised. No.
if it was Andy being goofy, then there may or may not have been a chance that I might have hit the mute button.
Ooh, burn.
Andy knows what she did.
Yeah, I know a lot of things.
Apparently, yes. Quit turning the map different colors. You were able to get
It's not
back
me.
to town. Everyone is
Affected with that.
rather stunned. You've got people still in the process of coming back after, running for their lives for a bit. Because everyone saw this giant bone golem rise up out of the mountains.
So everyone watched us get outclassed?
Yes.
Badly outclassed?
It wasn't that
Everyone
badly.
watched us outclass.
The bone golem.
It's not like everyone gotta watch the Twilight.
Crusader.
I'm sorry, what was the last bit of it?
He's a Twilight
Crusader.
Twilight Crusader, People's Elbow, the Bull Golem.
I do love the fact that we never actually used the Twilight Crusader's weapons.
Nope, except his shield.
And we only used the shield to like bonk at him real good.
Uh-huh. You could have done so many cool things with his weapons, and you're just like, nah, I want to wrestle.
I'm nursing my toe.
We're
Yes,
gonna-
you done did drop a thing on it, yeah.
Question.
Would you say Izumi has PTSD
Huh?
instead of PTSD?
Fuck yes.
Can't account for taste.
Borg, that was bad and you should feel bad.
I don't.
Okay, just wanted to get that out there.
Feel?
One more question.
I
orb
already
that
feel
now-
bad, but for other reasons.
The orb that we purified that now can summon celestial beings. Can we use it to summon the Twilight Crusader?
No, we have the amulets for that.
Yeah.
Oh, I know, but I just wanted to use the orb for something.
Well, you can't use it at the moment unless one of you is, without having told me, a conjurer of cheap tricks.
Oh, that's my new subclass.
Weird. That's a very specific subclass.
I did that on
Isn't
my
that
level 6.
generally
So.
what sorcerers are?
Conjurer of cheap tricks. I thought Gandalf was a wizard, not a sorcerer. Wizard. Let's go back to the ancestral Eerie. You are back in town. Some people recognize who you are. Most people don't. They are kind of still wrapping their head around what just happened. A lot of the guards wandering around are helping people get back into their homes.
Are we approached by a
Unpacking.
librarian?
You can go visit the tavern again if you wanted to. But you have technically fulfilled your side of the quest.
We should probably let them know what was going on, though.
Yeah, I ain't giving up my lantern, though.
Finders keepers. Also, those knives are sick as fuck.
Yeah, trick or treat.
We never did find out what the shield was, though.
Who has the shield?
There's a shield?
There's a shield and a sword is what you got.
I thought Cassius took the shield, but Cassius died tragically in a bone golem fire.
In an unspecific place.
Yeah,
We're all
Cassius-
really upset that they have to pick a new Blue Knight now.
Uh-huh.
Canonically?
Not canonically. You find yourselves back inside of the tavern that you had originally met the librarian in. The one that I didn't have any kind of visuals for because I am a terrible unplanning person. But now we've got a visual for it. It is filled with a variety of reptilian peoples, ranging from lizard folk to kobolds to dragonborn to turtles. And of course the
Quick
dragon in the
question.
ceiling.
Who has the clothing of the Blade Walker?
barbarous.
Okay.
Hence the collection of swords.
Well, I'm looking at our equipment. Who has the circlet of shields?
Me,
Okay.
the squishy magic user.
And then Loki has trick or treat. Those are the only weapons we have.
No. Orb has trick or treat.
No, I didn't get shit.
You got Ralph.
Rolf.
Rolf, boy.
No, someone else picked out Ralph's name and everything. I've just been keeping a hold of him.
Speaking of, there's Rolf.
And someone else has a raccoon. I left with de facto management of Ralph, but no real say in anything concerning Ralph. It's like, hey, not only did you tame this animal for us, I'm taking this animal immediately, giving him a name, and then making him your problem again. That's what happened to me.
I said I would help.
I would just like to point out that you took the least amount of hits because you were so damn hard to find.
Yes, I took the least amount of hits, but I also didn't get anything.
Which is why I have this
that's
circle,
okay.
because I kept getting hits.
You have a lot of
Yeah, that's
HP
fair.
for a sorcerer.
I do.
How much
Just
HP
because I'm a
does he
Dragon
have?
Ball side. I have 17.
17.
Yes.
Total?
Did you not level
70.
up?
Oh no, sorry, not HP. I thought you were talking about armor class. Why are you at a 10?
That's very different.
I was about to say.
I have 47.
Yeah.
It's like,
It's like
You
You
have, like,
have
level
more
2
than the
HP.
bard rogue over here.
Yeah, but you have trick or treat. If you want the circlet, you have to give up trick and treat.
I think I'd rather
I
have
don't think
trick or
anyone was
treat.
asking for the circlet. I think we were just confused.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, no, I thought he asked about my AC, not my HP.
Your HP. How
No,
much it takes to murder
Yeah,
you.
we were talking about your HPs. How many H's and P's do you have?
Whoa.
47.
47?
Yes.
With
It's still
some
more than me.
temporary.
No, 36 of those are temporary.
What?
36 temp HP, 47 real HP.
47 real HP. I only have 42 real HP.
Laughs in 39.
Well, you're in
Anyway.
the tavern. You remember meeting the guy towards your left? The left side of the bar.
That guy?
Is that the same guy?
Could
All
be.
dark and spooky.
He looks kind of mysterious and may or may not have a beard.
Brave.
Scoot.
I just cheated. I don't care.
Wow. So you can have nice things.
No, I grew up in this town. I just jumped over the wall.
It's not technically a wall. It's a just like a
Cage.
raised platform kind of thing.
Yeah. You think that's gonna stop me? I grew up here.
It's like a foot tall, bruv.
Like I said, I grew up here. I'm not gonna go down to the stairs. I'm just gonna step.
You could have flown, but you don't have wings. Weird.
Shut up.
No.
Listen, having wings doesn't mean you can fly.
Yet anyway. I get those at level 18, I think.
Yeah. Okay. I had a really goofy idea, but I'm not going to voice it. Let's continue.
Okay. You find your way back to the librarian that you had talked to before. You find him sitting in his seat that he was in before. He's still wearing the black robe and hood. He's got like the kind of the whitish gray bushy beard, scarred face, pale white eye. When you sit down, he just kind of looks up and gives you like a very soft smile and says, "So, how did it go?"
I kind of want to put this guy to sleep.
Rude.
Zombies.
It went pretty well. Fraxstone got kidnapped, as we anticipated. And
I woke up to zombies.
Woke up to zombies. We did a lot of battling. I found a cult that decided that they wanted to make a bone golem, and were successful, and then we defeated the bone golem.
Ah, so
And I
you were
still-
the noise outside.
Yeah.
And I stubbed my toe.
I almost died.
Twice.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad to hear that you figured out what all was going on. Were you able to find anyone alive?
No.
No.
Ah.
We barely got Frackstone alive.
He just kind of looks at Fraxton and he's like, he's a hardy guy. He could have
We
handled
have
it.
Rolf.
Points at the goat who's currently
We
chewing
have Rolf
on
now.
the side of the table.
Yeah, you wouldn't be the first thing to do that.
Rolf the goat was previously a, oh gosh, what was he?
He was a zombie ogre.
He
Yes.
looks like lunch.
He was a zombie ogre,
Looks like
but
lunch.
we magic knifed him into being a goat.
He just looks at Rolf and is just like, ah. A kobold comes up to the
And now he's
to the
ours.
group. He's wearing like a white tunic and like a little apron. He's like, "Do y'all need anything?"
Ale.
He just kind of looks at you funny. It's just like, "Oh, do you want like the house, or you looking for like the foreign stuff?"
I need strong house.
Well, then we're gonna
Lots
get
of food.
mead, because this is
Yeah,
Nehutorum.
mead. I need to forget the zombies.
Does anybody else want anything?
I want a goat. I'm hungry.
The goat is like,
No.
meh.
Just kidding. Just bring me some food, please. Whatever you have.
Meat.
He just kind of like takes out like a little notebook and he leafs through it and he's like, we've got like the house special. We've got like sandwiches. We've got soup. We've got soup and sandwiches. We've got soup inside of a sandwich. We've got sandwich inside of a soup, and then we've got the
That's actually
special
pretty
inside
good.
of a soup inside of the sandwich.
Okay.
Can I have some salmon with wild rice, please?
That was not on the list. You can
Lots
take
of-
what I've offered.
Lots of soup, lots of sandwiches.
Can I'm a rabbit, so I can't have meat. And I was wondering if you had a sandwich inside of a soup that had no meat.
Nah, we could just take the ham or turkey out of it.
How do you
Okay.
put the
All right,
sandwich
then I'll
in
have one of those and a meat as well.
Anybody else want a soup and or a sandwich?
I am good, but thank you.
Okay, so for the cat gentleman, we have, quote, lots and lots of soups and sandwiches. We've got a mead for the green wearing dragonborn. Are you a knight?
Yes.
Huh. And then the tiny child asked for a soup and a sandwich without meat in it. And then the bird said okay. Is
I
that
also
about
wanted
it?
a mead to drink.
No, okay. And
Yeah.
mead.
Do you have grass for Rolf?
We're not gonna feed your goat.
He's eating the
I'll
table.
pay.
He can enjoy the table. We've got more. He can have a soup,
Okay.
or we could put him in a soup.
No thanks.
Okay. And he just kind of toddles off. The librarian has during the interaction with the bar staff has taken out a tome and has written down in like a kind of complicated shorthand how everything had went. You see that as his quill touches certain parts of the page, it actually fills in the information, and you see that it is actually from each of your perspectives. So he fills up the pages pretty quickly, and he gets it all down about as correct as one can get based off of the circumstances. He closes the tome after just a minute or two and says, "Well, that was about the best anyone could have really asked for. I had hoped that some of the people that they had taken could have been found alive. But you did
So
your
had
best.
we.
And that's all that we can really ask for. Your meals are on me."
Oh, thank you.
But you are not a plate.
Oh, my goodness.
He just kind
That's
of
a good
like
one.
rubs his forehead a little.
Orb tries and smiles, but as the beak is a beak, just kind of makes like a weird face with puffy feathers.
Okay, Fraxton just cracks up at that. I'm just going to tell you this.
Listen, a bird can only be so expressive with a face.
True. But all I'm seeing in my head is the strange ostrich bird from the short Birds doing its little and you have no idea what I'm talking about.
Nope.
No.
The kobold comes back and delivers everyone what they had ordered. A rather large mug of mead for Fraxstone, for Loki, a tray with a sandwich that is essentially the bowl and like a vegetable soup on the inside.
Hmm.
And you can still smell like remnants of like the bits of meat that they had put in it before, but they'd literally just taken it out. For Izumi, it was like 4 soups and 4 sandwiches.
That's round one.
The librarian just kind of raises his eyebrow and then like drops like a handful of coins inside of the kobold's hand, and he just kind of scampers away again.
Fraxton looks at Izumi. I think this round can hold you until we get back to the base.
Maybe I eat goat.
Goat goes, meh.
Orb goes and hisses.
Oh, you cut out, so I just.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
it's
just heard
because my
silence.
microphone doesn't like weird noises.
That's terrible.
So I did audibly hiss into my microphone.
Oh, I wonder
Fair.
if mine will let me hiss. Sometimes it doesn't let me laugh.
So like the librarian, after you get all of your like meals and stuff, getting into him, he says, "Did you get anything from the golem by chance?"
Oh,
there's
yeah.
a big stone outside.
And he just kind of pauses, and he's like, Did you touch it?"
Yes
After
and
they
no.
after they did some weird magic to clean it up, it was gross.
Explain.
I don't
We
know. I don't do
purified it.
magic.
Just it just kind of like does this kind of like what like the meme of like the surprise face.
Using both dragon fire and phoenix fire, we purified the undead summoning to now it's celestial. It is safe to touch.
No touch.
No, it is
Do
safe to touch.
do a persuasion check for me.
Me?
Yes.
Oh, good. I'm not proficient in it, but I'm still gonna. I rolled a nat 20.
Boom.
That's fantastic. Plan B, I was gonna go, you call my friend a liar, intimidation check.
You called my friend a liar.
I would just like to point out that right now I'm pretty sure I could convince him I hold the sun in my hand.
You're gonna have to need higher than a 24 for that. So, like, you explained to him what happened. Gersemi shot magma at it. Gersemi now in tiny Dargan mode is, sitting between your horns like it do. And then Izumi poured
Proudly
Phoenix
adjusting
fire on it.
glasses.
And somehow the flexing and glaring helped.
He just kind of like rolls his eyes at that part of the story.
But
And
it's true, the
so,
light changed.
like, he puts his hands upon the table and he says, "So, let me get this straight. Other than the stancing your two comrades did, you poured two different kinds of fire on it. It broke the magical barrier, and now
Is good, Bob.
it's switched?"
Yes.
He just kind of like
It's not just fire. Magical. Two different sorts of magical intent fire.
he's just kind of like
fire.
he just kind of like waves it off a little because he's just like dragon fire and phoenix fire don't tend to coexist together in the same spot. So the fact that you're able to do it at the same time without some kind of cascade effect means that your bonds as knights has grown enough that you didn't instantaneously kill each other. You see him reach into his the interior of his robe and he pulls out an amulet. If any of you are proficient with religion, you're more than welcome to roll to see what it is.
I only have a +2 because I am half proficient.
It's an int one. I am not proficient.
Proficient.
Neither.
I don't think anyone has proficiency.
I'll roll. I don't know.
Nope.
I'll roll.
You.
I might know.
How
I'm 50-50.
religious is Loki?
Oh well, Fraxton's more religious than I. I'd say it's probably like one of those like touch and go religions where you like get really into it for a month and then like something bad happens and you feel really betrayed, so you're off for a couple months. I feel like that's kind of how it goes when you're on the road trying to steal from the rich and give to the poor.
So would you say that the god that you generally worship would then be like the god of like thieves or like luck?
Probably.
I would like to point out Izumi is really religious apparently.
Yeah.
How religious is Fraxstone?
As religious as most others who in this nation who are not warriors.
The patron, yeah, there we go. The patron gods of Nehu Torum tend to be the what's called the pantheon of war. There's the divine pantheon, which is the pantheon of the 13, and then there's a number of smaller pantheons underneath that just encompass large groups of both spirits, saints, and gods. The pantheon of war is led by the god of war, and then after him is his sister, the goddess of strategy, of course, Lady Death, and generally the goddess of travelers. And strangely enough, the goddess Elune, the goddess of dreams and prophecy. You don't recognize the emblem that he takes out as one of those.
And it's
I
not
worship-
Umbrus's, right?
It is not.
Okay.
I worship the god Kemvalur.
The god of justice.
And holy vengeance.
With your natural 20, you recognize it as a token of the god of magic and knowledge, Duzius. It's like a triangle with an eye in the center and a line going straight down from the tip down to past the eye.
And I just say, oh, that's an amulet of
The guy you
magic.
just said.
And the rest of what you said.
I kept
He
thinking
conveys
it.
the knowledge he knows to the rest of the group.
Yes. But I do it in a nonchalant way, like, hey, yeah, that's just the god of blah, blah, blah.
He just kind of like nods as he rubs it, and you see that like a little bit of blue smoke comes out of it, and he whispers softly into it before he puts it back inside of his robe. And he looks at you and he says, "So, as much as you might want to mess with it or something, can we look at it first? Make sure it's not dangerous and see if there's even things that you can do with it."
Do you know our friend Zeth?
He just kind of like narrows his eyes a little bit. You talking about the your like Citadel's
keeper.
caretaker?
Yes.
Yeah, we know old Z. He's a bit of a wayward disciple of the library, and by disciple I mean one of the founding members. So yeah, we know who he is. Is there a particular reason you bring him up in conversation?
He may like the ball.
He's like, okay. Do you have any qualms with us taking it out of your hands for a minute?
Just be careful you don't drop it on any feet.
Does anyone have a clock?
I don't have a clock.
He just kind of like picks up his tome and puts it underneath his arm before he stands up. He's like, at that last attempt at a pun, I'm going to leave.
Please
We
do.
You
will.
say that, but Borb is being entirely serious right now.
I don't have a clock.
He says, after we're finished studying it, we will send it to your pocket dimension. Enjoy the remainder of your meal. If you need to buy anything else, he just like puts like a handful of like a mixture of coins out on the table and says, "I got about this much left," and then he just kind of leaves.
Okay. Bye. Have a good one. Oh, he ran.
He booking it towards that orb.
He's like, I gotta get out of here. It took a
This
minute to
bird
open
is
it, though.
driving me insane.
Oh,
Yeah, put
thanks for
Barbaros-
joining us.
I'll put Barbaros and Azim over there. With Rolf taking up the last chair, also attempting to eat it.
Okay, so Crackstone downs the rest of his meat and waits for another one.
The Kobold is more than happy to deliver you another one, and takes the couple of coins it takes for the mead. You have about another meal's worth if you wanted to use it. Otherwise, you can use it as a tip if you prefer.
I think we all want to go back to the pocket dimension and just rest after that.
We need to get Rolf home.
Rolf time.
Before he wanders off or eats any more furniture.
Nom 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 nom.
Meh.
You can make your way back to the script circle that you had used to arrive. Which, if I remember correctly, is actually the spire in the middle of town. As soon as you step on it, it lights up in the same kind of purplyish, pinkish colors that the summoning circle or the teleportation circle at home did when you were using it. It, like everything turns white, and then you find yourselves in the purple. Well, everybody moved again. God dang it.
Do not use the Lord's name in vain.
I said dang it.
Where is Ralph?
Oh, I will bring out Rolf again.
Okay, good.
He, as soon as you like appear inside of the teleportation circle in the pocket dimension, you find that Rolf is like licking the stone of the circle, with his eyes just kind of like bugging out a little bit. He's just, you can like, it's like sandpaper across stone kind of sounds.
I don't think you should do that, Ralph.
Meh.
We don't need you getting high on magic.
You do.
The circle.
You do see like some of the hair on the, like some of the fur on his back starts to turn pink.
Oh, he's gonna become pink from being here.
He's a very pretty boy.
Well, you are back home. You find yourselves in the nebula-strewn skies of your pocket dimension, the purplish pink grass, the pink dirt, and the giant crystal fortress that you spent the last 2 years of your life living in.
Still looks weird.
I'm leading Rolf inside with myself. And I'm just leading him by the rope and just being like, come, Rolf.
Meh. You could hear like the little, like the kind of clip clop of his hooves on the crystal floor. It just kind of reverberates a little bit. Otherwise, his eyes are kind of bugging out a little bit because there's a lot of pink, but otherwise he is okay for now.
No longer turning pink.
No, he like just the one bit of fur had turned pink.
Ralph is no longer allowed on the summoning circle.
All right, so what are we doing now?
I think we should find Z.
Agreed.
Well, let's have a perception check from everybody.
Rolf must meet his new father.
Why do I?
Okay, it really likes me today.
Apparently.
Damn.
Despite Loki being kind of distracted by Rolf previously attempting to turn pink, you're all brought to the attention of, what is brought to your attention is the smell of freshly cooked food coming from the, the dining room.
Ooh.
I head there immediately.
Making my way downtown.
Walking fast.
Rolf is past. Now he's pink.
No. Oh,
What?
never mind. Hold on.
Doo-ba-doo-doo-doo-ba-doo-doo.
Well, it still got like the token information up from the last page, and I thought I was lost to the abyss because of the way that the thing changed. I wonder if it'll let me do a tint color, even though it's not a real token.
It doesn't save the temporary hit points, unfortunately.
If you hold the Alt key on your keyboard while moving your token around, that'll allow you to put it on the rather sadly off-centered chairs.
There we go.
Um,
And Rolf is like right here next to me.
meh.
But away from Izumi.
I had to figure out what Alt was for Mac, which is option.
Oh. Silently judges.
Hey, I just got a new iPhone today, and I love it, so...
It's still gonna get judged. As you go into the dining room, you see that the hoard of food that Zethedramel tends to prepare is laid out on the buffet tables towards the back. It is dinner time, so it is all dinner foods, ranging from large cooked varieties of fowl, fish, all of the meat options, all of the non-meat options, and of course a couple of breakfast options, and cinnamon rolls. Always cinnamon rolls.
Of course. Cinnamon rolls, very important.
I sit closest to the food so I can get to it fast.
Zethedramel, you can see him just kind of lazing back on his chair, sitting in like the middle of things, and it looks like he is taking a nap. He's just softly snoring as he sits amongst the aromas of miscellaneous cooked foods.
Can I sleight of hand tie Rolf to his hand? Like arm?
You can try.
Let's see. Dirty 20.
You're able to surreptitiously tie Rolf's leash to Zethedramel without him waking up.
Z, we're back.
You see it just kind of like head shakes a little bit. And he has like a lazy old man look up and he says, "Oh, welcome back. Good nights." And he just kind of looks down at his wrist, lifts it up, follows the line of rope to a goat currently attempting to eat a shard of crystal. And he's like, "I've woken up to stranger things attached to my wrist." You see him just like slide it off and like just kind of like puts the lead up onto the table in front of him before he like produces a handful of carrots to feed to Rolf.
We found a pet goat.
Your friend the librarian has the ball.
He just kind of like looks up and is
Good.
like, "I have many friends amongst the library. You'll have to be more specific."
My librarians.
The
I
horrible.
don't know if he ever told us his name.
He
It would
never
be
did.
very unlikely if he
Yeah.
ever did. The librarians tend to be very secretive with both their identities and their appearance. He may not have even been what you think he was.
I knew I should have rolled insight.
That makes it so easy to specify which one it was.
Indeed. Suffice to say, just speaking of where you met this librarian, I can assume he's one of a handful of people that I've met. What orb do you speak of?
The angel orb.
He just kind of gives you a blank look.
The orb.
It was
There was a bone golem, and we defeated the bone golem, and then they did magic stuff, and now the orb is not for bone golems.
He
But
just
for
kind of
angels.
raises his eyebrow and says, "Did magic stuff."
we managed to use both Phoenix Fire and Dragon Fire on it without exploding.
He like nods sagely. He's like, "That would do it." There's purifying qualities in both dragon flame and phoenix flame. However, they function quite differently. And he just kind of like settles back. Uh, Rolf is now happily eating carrots from his lap, and says, "Back when the world was created, there were primordial representatives of all of the elements. Amongst them was the phoenix, the primordial representatives of flame. With them came the flames of creation, which is how your phoenix," he looks at Izumi, "can come back to life after dying. And to some degree, you yourself can come back from death. Dragons kind of encompassed a little bit of that flame as well, but they came into existence when magic was introduced into this world. The other representatives of the elements, you've got the Thunderbird, you've got the... He just kind of like pauses as Borb holds up the amulet. And he just kind of looks at all of you and he just kind of gives you like a very like dad nod. It's like, well done. It's not every day that on your first mission you can summon the Crusader.
He saved a butt.
He tends to do that.
I used Dispel Magic on the orb, and he came.
Aha. A call for assistance. He's a very,
Big.
well, that's an understatement. He is a gracious knight of his own making. Anyway, long story short, Dragonfire does weird things with magic. Phoenix Fire brings things back to life. Much the same as a forest fire can turn fallow earth into fertile earth by burning things and turning it into nutrients and such. Phoenix Fire does the same, but on a much higher level. So utilizing both Phoenix and Dragon Flame was probably the best way you could have done it.
And a Loki glare.
He's like, I don't know what that really would have accomplished, but you do you, little rabbit.
Low-key or low-key?
Yes.
He's like, what? I don't understand the difference. You're gonna have to speak up.
Low-key is in my name versus low-key. Two different words. The low-key is slang for subtly.
Ah. Alright.
They're making fun of me.
Wow.
Do we ever stop?
Yeah, no, he never did. It's okay, though.
It's like, well, after the completion of your first quest, and now having given a purified summoning stone to a group of mysterious secret agent people,
I
you
said
can...
we should give it to you.
I wouldn't be able to do much with it. He just kind of like pats himself on like the chest as like he's like checking for like pockets and stuff. Then he like looks at Rolf and just kind of like leans down and opens up Rolf's mouth, and all you hear is just, and he like reaches in and pulls out like a book from his mouth. He's like, "How did you get that?" Just kind of like shakes it out. Borb, since you're the nearest to him, I want you to do a dex save.
I'm good at that.
Gets a nat 1.
You're able to avoid getting splattered with Rolf spit as he waves off the tome covered in goat.
Goat goo.
Io.
He flops it down on the table and opens it up, giving Rolf a glare. All you hear is this, meh. I was like, I don't even know how you got that. My pockets do not operate in such a way that a goat could reach into them. But now I've got to check all of their magical protections.
Rolf is pink now.
He's partially pink. He just kind of like looks over and like writes something down in the book before he turns over a handful of pages. And you see, like he lifts up the book a little bit, and you can see that the page that lists the quest that you were just on is listed as complete. He leafs through it a little bit. He's like nods and like says, "Oh yeah," as he looks through it, and he gets to the end of it where he rotates it around, and uh, you'll all have to kind of like congregate around Zethedramel, but he points towards the bottom of the page, which in this case is directly in front of Borb, and says, "According to our quest system, you can call it, you're given a reward. Now, this, I don't want you to go around sharing this with the other miscellaneous creatures that you meet on your journeys. But this is how a knight truly begins to grow. Beyond the power of your raiment and your weapon, you're given specialized tools to better help yourselves in future conflicts. However, you're only at this point allowed to have 2. As you complete further quests, you will get more and more until such time as all of you have something to increase your greatness."
Orb just bounces up and down in the chair like an excited kid, just like, ooh, pretty things, and holds out the daggers, just showing him, like, I have pretty things.
He like reaches over and like pats the back of your hand and says, "That's nice, dear."
Azumi chuckles.
They made Rolf.
That is what those daggers do. They are
One of them.
rather unique.
So just saying, in, like, bird years, I am, like, a teenager, technically, but in human years, I am, like, 3 years old.
So a teenager.
Kinda.
Teenagers and toddlers are the same thing, they just have different expectations.
That's a whole mood.
Anyway, what cool stuff are we getting, Zethedramel?
Give me a quick second.
He's like,
Alright, back to toddlers and teenagers. That's a better show than toddlers and tiaras.
Toddlers and
No,
teenagers.
no. Just no.
Oh.
No on what?
We are not talking about that show.
No, I was talking about toddlers and teenagers. It's a very different thing entirely.
Yeah, but you mentioned the other thing.
So, Toddlers and Teenagers is about a gaggle of teenagers that are in charge of taking care of toddlers. This is, of course, hypothetical because it's not a real show and I'm making it up right now. But in episode 1, the pilot of Toddlers and Teenagers, they have a beauty pageant. They have a beauty pageant with all the teenagers and the toddlers vote on it, and Mark won.
Is that his name, or did he win?
Mark the teenager won the beauty pageant that was voted on by toddlers, and Toddlers and Teenagers the pilot.
Nice.
Yes, I've decided that this is true right now.
It is now canon. It's in the video.
We just need something to fill in the dead air while Crypt finds the stuff that he's giving us.
Well,
Okay.
you
So
have.
Franklin's just grabbing a big bird and eating it. Not even care that he's sitting next to Borb.
Honestly, Borb is probably too excited being a kid.
Grab some food.
There is the choice between a. What's the word? An accessory and a like a small accessory versus a large one. He doesn't offer like a weapon or a like piece of armor. All of these are mainly to accent your current range of abilities. However, you can only choose for the party 2. You can either give
for the
him 2.
party.
Yeah, it's not 2 for each of you, is 2 overall.
When we
Since
have the
I
choice.
have Trick and Treat, I don't really mind what other people get.
Loki should get an accessory.
I was just bitching to bitch. I don't really care all that much. It's fine.
What are the options?
You gotta
Large
choose one
accessory or
first.
small accessory?
We
So,
gotta
like,
choose between.
It's either like a ring or an amulet versus a cloak or like headpiece kind of thing.
Well, what is the cloak like?
You gotta pick it before he reveals which one it is.
I say cloak.
Well, technically, you can have one
How
of
about-
each.
Yeah, let's do one of each. Just split it down the middle.
Which
So
one did you
cloak
want to
and
know
ring.
about first?
Well, there's
I think Izumi wants to
ring.
know what the cloak does.
Who is the cloak going to be for? There's multiple
Izumi?
options.
Who would it benefit the most?
I've got like 3, so just tell me which one of you wants it.
Loki, probably? Or
Okay.
Izumi.
Loki or I?
You
Gotta
can
pick
have
one.
the cloak. I'll have something smaller.
All right.
I will tell you their names to me.
But would that not be regular for you, Loki?
Yeah.
I mean, a ring is a ring, and an amulet is an amulet.
What is fudge?
Oh, that's when you lose on purpose.
Oh, okay.
Or succeed on purpose. Fudging rolls is what I'm supposed to do.
Okay. I've never actually seen that option, so it's kind of threw me for a second.
There is
Which
the Cloak of Daggers. There is the Jinny Cloak. Like as in the Djinn. Jinn? And the Frostfell Cloak.
What do each of those do?
The whoops.
Jin, it's the D is silent.
So it's like the Django cloak then.
The Genie Unchained.
The Cloak of Daggers makes you better at sneaky things while in dim light or darkness. Plus, you can use a bonus action to summon a magic silver dagger to one or both of your hands, provided that they're empty. Disappears after a minute or at the end of your turn if you aren't holding it. The Frostfell Cloak essentially makes it so that you produce snowflakes. As you walk around, you get resistance to cold damage and ignore difficult terrain created by ice or snow.
Oh, never bothered me anyway.
It has 5 charges. You can use those charges to get rid of your movement speed in order to spin in place. When you do, you shoot out a whole bunch of cold out from you.
Oh, good God, that song is more appropriate now anyway. Either way.
Up to a radius of 15 feet. Everything around you takes a D8 of cold damage unless they fail on, or unless they succeed on a Constitution save. And it creates difficult terrain. The Djinn cloak. You get hero wind from it. Has 3. I'm sorry.
What does? I don't know what that does.
We pass gas.
No, it means that you constantly have wind, like ruffling the cape.
Oh.
So it
dramatic
always.
wind.
It has 3 charges. You can use an action to expend 1 or more charges to create a tornado. Essentially the same as the Frostspell cloak, but instead of cold damage, it's bludgeoning damage. You can either increase the radius or increase the amount of damage you produce.
I'm thinking I'll take the Cloak of Daggers and present it to Loki as a gift.
Oh.
They're so nice to me.
Better sneak, better sneak.
Because, Loki needed to, have more advantage on sneaking.
I know, right? Now magical
Built
daggers.
to never be found.
It even had flavor text with it.
Please put all your weapons on the table, ma'am. All of them, or just the ones you can see?
So, if it gives advantage in dim light or darkness, I have advantage just from being small anyway.
You don't get double advantage, but it makes it so that if you're in like a.
If someone saw you, you still have advantage.
Yeah. So if someone had dark vision and high things, I'd still get the advantage. Okay.
The only way you can be super seen is if they have more than true sight, because true sight doesn't help you find hidden people. It just means that they can see invisibility.
Blind sight.
I like the part of the bonus action. You get 2 silver daggers in each of your hands.
You can knife people twice. More than
How
people that can knife people only once.
What cloak did you guys like the best?
I liked this one the best. I thought it was going to go really well for you. And then you're like, I'm giving it to Loki. And I was like, I'm so special.
As for the rings, there's the ring that summons a tiny spider.
No. No.
I don't know. I didn't. Did I not actually? There it is. Okay, good. It's a teeny tiny spider. Does things. You can spy stuff with it.
Is the teeny tiny spider like the spiders from the other campaign?
No, it does not read books for you and poop out a list of things it read.
Dang.
No. Just no.
Well, maybe I'll pick it because Braxton doesn't. Alright, what is the other ring? What does the other ring do? Alright.
He's like, I got distracted and I totally forgot.
Yeah. That's a really complicated one. I don't like that one. We're going to forget that I wrote that one down.
I kind of want to hear what it is now that it says it's complicated.
Nah, you're fine. You're good.
He's saving it for later now.
There's a ring that allows you to create a very small portal.
A small portal?
How far?
You can use an action to speak the ring's command word followed by the name or description of a precise location on any plane of existence to toss it into an unoccupied space within 10 feet of you. It expands into a 5-foot circular stone portal that's 1 foot thick in the space where it lands, floating a foot off the ground where it remains for up to a minute. The portal duplicates the effect of the gate spell, creating another stone portal at the destination. This version of the spell can't target an individual creature, but can be used to target a precise location on the same plane of existence as you. You can end the spell and close the portal early by speaking its command word. When you do, it returns back to its normal size and reappears in your hand. If the portal remains for the full duration, the ring returns to its normal size and falls to the ground on a random side of the portal. Once the ring has been used, it can't be used again until 10 days have passed.
So that's a quick getaway.
It's called the Gateway Ring. And then, ooh, that one's fancy. Nope, too complicated again. There's also the funny one.
Ooh, what's the funny one?
You'll have to choose between the first 2 rings or the funny one before I tell you what the funny one is.
Oh, I think we're gonna pick the. Ring of Portal would be useful if we needed to get someone who was injured away.
Yeah, but we don't have any clerics now, do we? No, we have Barbaros, who's a cleric. So
And
Barbaros,
I have healing.
Yeah, we got like 3 healers. I think we're gonna be fine.
We have 3 healers and an ambient healer.
Well, we have 2 healers and an ambient healer.
Okay, let's
So
go.
we've got like 2.5 healers. I think that's pretty good for a party of 7.
Okay, let's go with the funny one then.
Yeah, I think the funny one just because I want to be entertained.
So just fair warning, it is a 1 use.
Oh.
The spider one happens all the time.
Well, isn't Izumi taking it? So wouldn't Izumi be the one to choose?
Izumi picked the first one and then gave it to Loki after deciding
so
that Loki
nice.
got the small one.
Well, I just figured I won't be sneaking as much, and Loki's sneak is higher than mine, so I didn't know she already had advantage.
Just by
you
being
can
short.
still have the cloak if you don't have advantage all the time.
Well, I only have a +3 to sneak, so I figured.
I just put my expertise in sneak, so I think you should have the cloak.
Alright.
Okay, so Izumi has the cloak, so now it's up to me.
The funny one is a 1 use.
Mm-hmm.
And you
But
realize
the spider does something, and the spider
I will
comes
be
back.
constantly smashing that spider.
Huh?
I will be constantly smashing that spider.
That's not very nice. Spider just, is vibing.
You'd smash my new best friend.
Yes. Because it's a spider.
Beggy, let me smash.
Let me smash.
It
Isn't
would be
that
a
like your
regular
character
smash
flaw?
anyway,
Your
it'd be a
character
chuck
flaw is
fast
terrified
smash.
of spiders?
Yes.
For real?
Yes. I don't care as long as they're outside, but if they come inside, they're dead.
Oh, it's such a hard decision. But the funny one's a one-time use thing. But then I won't get anything. No, it's fine. I'll get the funny one.
Are you sure? Last
Oh,
chance?
now you say it like that, I'm not sure. I'm
thinking the gateway ring would be most useful.
Yes.
Yeah, but the thing is that if you roll wrong, because it's got a 50-50 shot of ending up on one side of the gateway.
Well, it's only if it...
Only if you let it time out. If you end it before the thing, it returns to your hand.
Oh, I missed that part. Okay.
Yes, it's only when you let it sit for its full duration that it has the chance to fall on the other side of the portal.
Okay.
And I got a question. Can the cloak be a cloak of shurikens?
No, it's daggers.
Well then,
Right.
okay. I prematurely dismissed the gateway ring. I think I'm gonna go with the gateway ring then.
Are you
You can
sure?
flavor text the daggers as kunai.
I think I'm sure about the gateway ring because I feel like that's very in character for Loki to want to easily describe, hey, can I get a portal to this rich guy's like vault and
So I can,
So-
now I can pull off even worse crimes.
No. Even better crimes
yeah.
without getting caught.
Yeah, we go back home and steal all the gold in the evil guy's castle,
Mhm.
and then give it to the people.
Which he then steals it from again.
There is the thing for the gateway ring. And the funny one was only going to last for that choice. So to tell you what the funny one was, it's called the Scroll of Comedic Endings. Where essentially you read the scroll, you pick a dude, and that dude gets crushed by a giant anvil.
You were making Acme in a scroll?
Yeah.
We could have used that for the next kaiju fight. No, that would have been epic.
At which point the celestial knight falls on its head.
That would have been so funny. It's like, oh my gosh, we have this kaiju fight. What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? Bonk. Oh, that would be great. Now I'm regretting my life choices, but now I'm good with the ring. It'll be good.
Okay. He closes the book, and he reaches into his robe pockets after giving Rolf a nasty glare and like pushing the goat a little bit away from him. Takes out of his pocket a wrapped bundle and the and like a keybox or like a ring box. So like the wrapped bundle is of course the cloak with the little daggers, not engraved but like sewn stylistically into the borders of the cloak that he gives to Izumi, and then the little ring box to Loki.
Embroidered.
Embroidered, there you go.
So Loki ended up with both of them.
No. Izumi's got the cloak.
That's right. Izumi's got the cloak. Yeah, I think Izumi could get the cloaks, get the daggers to come out as kunai just for flavor text,
Yeah, you could do kunai.
which still fits your theme.
He opens up the book again and brings it to what looks like another quest. And he looks at you and says, "You've got a little bit of time before you need to go back out and do heroic knight things. So if you wanted to take a few days of rest, you're more than welcome. Your next job would be investigating something in," and he turns and looks at Loki. It says, "in your home country, Tar Vesmela. You get to go visit the crossroads."
Oh.
Did someone make a deal at midnight?
He just kind of gives you a blank look.
Crossroads is a town.
Just Loki, just like point blank, is just like, it's a town. Fraxton is like, I'm making a joke.
Orb suddenly laughs and just sits back normally, just looking at Zithedramel like he didn't. You aren't sure if it was a genuine laugh or if he was just making noises.
I always think Borb's just making noises.
That's fair.
Oh, Zethedramel does investigate or identifies the shield and the sword you got.
Woo!
The sword that you got, which is in this case a great sword, was the Frostburn blade. It looks like it's.
Barbaros has.
I'm sorry.
Barbaros has.
Yes.
Barbaros.
The sword blade is made entirely of ice and remains perfectly frozen regardless of temperature. Single flame licks at the ice from above the weapon's hilt while holding the sword. The fire expands to cover the weapon's edge with fire, shedding bright light in a 30-foot radius and dim light for another 30. When you hit with an attack using this sword, the target takes an extra d6 of cold damage and d6 of fire. When you take the attack action, you can choose to forego one of the attacks to sweep the blade in front of you, causing a wave of either cold or fire to erupt from the blade in a 30-foot cone. Each creature in the cone must make a dexterity save, taking 4d6 cold or fire damage, your choice on a failed save, or half as much on a successful one. You can only use it once per day, at least that cone property anyway. The shield is the Forgework Dragon Shield. The shield is fairly tall. It's kind of like a. It's not a heater shield. I'll think of it in a minute. It's a tower shield, but it's like it's got like the rounded point at the bottom. Thanks for sending us a thing about Shaq.
You're welcome.
The memes channel is overflowing tonight.
Apparently. While holding the plated brass shield, you gain a +1 to AC. This bonus is in addition to the shield's normal bonus to AC. It has a metallic maw and the visage of a dragon forged in the face of the shield, and small plumes of flame occasionally leap from openings in the shield's plates. When a creature within 5 feet of you misses you in an attack, you can use your reaction to shoot fire at it, forcing the attacker to make a dexterity save. On a failed save, they take 3d10 fire damage and are set on fire. Until they take an action to douse the fire, they still take a d10 of fire damage at the start of each of their turns. On a success, they take half the damage, don't ignite. Once that's used, can't be used until the following day. So yeah, you can set people on fire once per day.
Good God.
And then the sword can also set people on fire or make them very cold once per day. At least in a cone, anyway.
I would like to point out that you made the Moonlight Blade an Icy Hot Blade.
No, the Moonlight Blade was an option that I could have found.
Well, I'm talking about from Dark Souls.
Yes,
games.
I know where the Moonlight Blade came from. I'm just saying that it's literally popped up on the random magical item generator that I'm using.
Oh.
What kind of sword is that sword?
What?
The one you just described.
The Frostburn one?
Yeah.
It's a big great sword, because that's how it was found.
Oh, okay.
I don't think you're going to get it from Barbaros anyway.
He has an addiction to collecting swords.
He has to have at least as many as his proficiency bonus.
Uh-huh.
Which he now does. Not that it's going to keep him from collecting more, but he's now reached at least the minimum for his addiction.
So your next quest, on top of getting to visit Crossroads, is to solve a murder.
So someone did make a deal at midnight.
Potentially an assassination. Like put a hit out on somebody kind of thing.
All right, let's go.
Or did you want to rest for a little bit? Take the day off.
Oh, I figured. All right. I thought maybe we rested before we got here, but yeah, let's rest.
We can head out in the morning.
Get you some
Right.
nice, delicious food made by the eccentric old man who is currently trying to make sure
Keep
that
the
the
goat
goat doesn't
from
try to
getting into
dig
his
into his
pocket.
pockets. Yeah.
Hey guys, I don't think we need to rest because we got healed for everything, and then we all have temporary hit points.
Yeah, but do we want to deal with exhaustion?
Oh, probably not.
Because I don't know if you guys. I know I slept, but I don't know if you guys slept.
I
I
don't
was
Oh.
put to
remember.
sleep. I was put to sleep. I don't think you guys slept last night.
You didn't. You have been up since.
The day before.
Yeah. None of you slept that night.
I did.
All right, then we are tired and we're going to sleep and we're waking up the next day.
Okay.
I figured you wouldn't want exhaustion.
So, as you reach
There's something
your
sounding on my head.
respective beds for the evening, I will quickly switch between the two different bedroom setups. You've got Barbaros, Azim, and Frackstone on one side, and Izumi, Loki, and Borb on the other side.
I would like to point out that all of our tokens that we're if we're not on that side are listed at the top.
Yes, because that's the way that you're able to see things without without it being just like a black screen.
Okay. Just making sure.
It's the only way I was able to do it. I could have made it a little bit less complicated, but or could have made it more complicated, I guess. As you all sit down to sleep, or not sit down, but lay down to sleep, your dreams are sporadic and nonsensical, as dreams generally are, until it gets to the final bit of your REM sleep. You find yourselves, you don't find yourselves like together, you are experiencing it from your own perspective. You find yourselves walking up a grassy hill. What you notice first is that the sky is almost the same hue as the grass at your feet. A bright, flashing, calamitous green. There's clouds everywhere. There's smoke going past your nostrils. You can feel the ozone in the air as magic rebounds across the empty expanse directly in front of you as you crest the top of the hill. You see that you are standing on the edge of a massive magical battlefield. There are two different sides lobbing all sorts of magical spells at one another. You see that there are armies in the middle of it clashing and breaking themselves upon each other. You recognize the army from your left as that of the chivalric pact armies, the united front that the seven nations bring together whenever they are united against a common enemy. There are two things that you notice. For the first one is that they're going up against a seemingly endless horde of undead, and the second is that there are not a single mythical creature knight amongst your allies. No one is riding a dragon into battle. There's no Reverns, there's no Phoenixes, there's no unicorns, no basilisks and coatls and anything. And next to you, walking up to stand next to you, is a man wearing like skeletal plate armor with glowing, flaming green eyes. He's carrying a flail that has The string looks like it's made out of a spinal cord, and the mace head is a series of different racial skulls with giant metal spikes going through them, pointing outwards. There's about a dozen in there, capped with like this huge kind of like morning star ball at the bottom. He's got a long, billowing black cloak. It takes you a moment to really come to terms with the person that you are standing next to, because as the masked face turns to look at you, you hear this voice that when he speaks, it makes the bones in your body rattle. Like you feel like the base of it make your entire body move with it. And all the voice says is, "You're looking at the future. I can't wait to see you in person before the dream ends." And you wake up, your heart is pounding in your chest, you're covered with sweat, you are panicked. Just everybody do a wisdom save.
I'm so glad I'm proficient in it.
Mine didn't go. Oh,
Ooh.
Oh.
that's a uh-oh.
That's a bad uh-oh.
We're all having a rough time down here in the south hallway.
I blame it on my toe.
I have enough
South
magical
hallway.
knowledge to know not to trust that bastard.
All of you are fairly rattled from it. You're pretty much Borb Celestial and Loki kind of like your fight or flight response has gone off pretty nastily. Your heart thudding in your chest, and you kind of have like a prey animal response where like you're just kind of wildly looking around, and it takes a minute for your eyes to really adjust to your surroundings. Fragstone, you have a similar response, but not as critical. You're able to wrap your head around it a little bit quicker than the rest of them. All of you know who it is that you just spoke to. And part of your minds, like the little bit of memory you have as you're coming down from this adrenaline-fueled nightmare, recalls that same battlefield was 10 years ago when the previous generation of knights went and attempted to lay siege to the Ashen Peak. To the Ash Mount, not the Ashen Peak, that's a different place. When they had decided to not bring their creatures with them. However, part of the dream reminds you that he said in the future, because the person that you just talked to was the Necromancer King, Shaldazar the Unrelenting, the primary undead bad guy.
Uh-oh.
It's now morning. You find that the timers next to your bed tell you it's about 9 a.m. You can smell the delicious smell of breakfast ready for you inside of the main room. You can either try to make yourself more presentable, give it a couple minutes, or don't make yourself presentable and just go get food. Or don't go get food.
I just go get food. I don't need to make myself presentable.
Yeah, like I'm covered
Me
in
either.
skins.
Azumi is unsettled, must eat.
Yes, mentality. If I don't understand what's going on, I'll just eat food until I do.
I'm gonna brush my fur down a little bit before I get some food.
Eat food until Loki tells me what the hell just is Azumi's point of view.
I'm like, wow, Izumi, your fur's fucked.
It is everywhere. It is bad hair day all over the place.
I've like still got my brush in my hand and I'm going after him now.
And I'm stomping down. I'm not happy. I'm in a bad mood.
So did you
Like-
guys have a pleasant visitation as I did?
Visitation, that is
Do I
not
look
fun.
like I had pleasant, whatever word you just used?
Your bonded companions are a little bit anxious as well. Loki, when you had woken up, Starsinger was like attempting to fix you by touching you with his horn, because he experienced part of your nightmare too. So you find that after you finished brushing yourself down, you are rainbow hued.
Okay.
Alright.
Because
Blackstone's just laughing.
his reasoning was, because like as soon as he touched you with his horn, you woke up, and he's like, "Oh, I made it better, dude. I
Did
woke you up
Kasai
from
step
your
every
nightmare.
Thanks.
You're welcome, bruh." Also smells like I made sausages. I can't eat that because herbivore and stuff. Smells good though.
Mm-hmm.
And you just see him just kind of like trot off, clap, 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 but just like uses his mouth to turn the doorknob and then just nudges it open with his horn, also turning it rainbow. But he's like whistling as he leaves your room. Gersemi, being a nerd, has been staring at you straight in the face ever since you woke up. Because despite the fact that you would lay down to sleep, Gersemi has stayed between your horns.
Well,
And,
yes. Where else would she sleep?
He just staring straight down, says, so it's a pretty nasty dream you just had.
Indeed.
You wanna talk about it?
Not particularly. Rather not meet him for anytime soon.
Can I guess who it was?
Undead.
You met the big bad guy.
Yeah.
The one that starts with an S that I can't say.
Yes.
We'll call him Shelly.
Yes, we will now call him Shelly.
Looks very satisfied with herself.
We will call him Shelly. That is what we will call him. To his face.
Kasai has a nice little perch next to your bed, where he had just kind of like hunkered down to sleep as phoenixes do. And so when you woke up with a start, he squawked, burst into flame, turned into ash, and has slowly recouped himself as you were getting, ready to get back to eating things. So that by the time Izumi is like leaving the room, Kasai is just kind of leaving behind a cloud of ash before landing on your shoulder and says, "You gonna tell me what you just dreamed about?"
Didn't you see for yourself?
I mean, I got a little bit of it. He's like preening himself, getting ash all over your shoulder. I saw like the last little bit. I saw like there's people shoot spells at each other. An edgelord. I liked his flail though. It's a little bit over the top. Otherwise, I don't know who that is.
We're going to have to kill this edgelord.
Is it because he's an edgelord?
Yes.
That works for me.
He just kind of like shrugs his birdie shoulders. It's just like, okay. It's like, I hope he made fish for breakfast, because I am, for some strange reason, always craving that.
I like fish. It's good.
You find out in the main room the same kind of breakfast spread that you had 2 days before. Pancakes, sausages, more cinnamon rolls, miscellaneous cooked meats, miscellaneous not cooked vegetable things. The equivalent of a very extravagant salad in a very large bowl. There are different forms of dressing, ranging from berry-related ones to the medieval equivalent of ranch.
Fantastic.
Focusing mainly on the meat. Because dragon.
You are a carnivore, yes.
So do you guys see Shelly too?
Who is Shelly?
We are calling him Shelly now.
Gusemi nods emphatically.
Yeah.
We are not calling him by the name he has given himself. We're calling him Shelly.
We're soon to be calling him dead.
Because I just kind of like leans forward and like point blank stares Azumi in the face and says, "Now who's the edgelord?"
I'm still going at this guy's fur. He's huge.
It's like, dear God, what side of the bed did you just wake up on?
Every side, it looks like.
Loki, did you brush up against Starsinger's horn?
It the other way around, but yeah.
You're looking colorful this morning.
Thanks. I was always told that it's nice to have a bit of color in your cheeks.
And
Which set?
Loki, why do you look like a rainbow?
Man, you're really out of it this morning. Starsinger's horn. What's what unicorns do? They make you rainbow sometimes.
I just eat.
To emphasize this, Starsinger clops over and is like, it goes like this, bruh, and then like taps you with his horn, and your fur turns rainbow.
I look at Starsinger. Don't ever do that again. I do not want to look like a rainbow.
But now you and your you and the my best friend, and apparently also your best friend, match.
I turn around, kind of scuffle, and just eat my food.
Got nothing to say to that.
Just kind of clops back, head held high, and then just stuffs his entire face into the bowl of salad. Oh God!
Want some dressing on that?
He just kind of like looks up and he's got like cabbage and lettuce all over his face. Just now I'm good. Dives back in and says, "This is some high quality lettuce."
I put fish and meat in it.
You just kind of like
periodically just placing bits of meat on my head right in front of Grisemi.
She eats it very daintily.
Now I can't even eat the salad.
Starsinger just kind of like stops eating, like looks at it, and you just see him go. That smells fine. Nom 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 nom.
That only
There's
affects
cinnamon
me.
rolls.
What?
Looking at Loki. There's cinnamon rolls.
I'll have some cinnamon rolls. I can do that.
I'll put some lettuce on her plate.
A single leaf of lettuce.
No, not a single leaf. Like some salad.
So at least 2 leaves then.
Ah.
Yes.
Apparently there's
So
also
much-
like ravioli
Mm.
and just an entire plate of apples. And eggs.
You mean the unicorn didn't go for the apples first?
He's eating the entire bowl included of the salad.
Oh, I thought that's what I was eating.
The salad or the bowl?
The salad.
Yes.
I thought
thought
you were
that's-
eating just like other things.
Oh no, I can't. I thought when you made that description, you were talking about me. I was wondering why am I eating salad?
No, it's Star
that was
Singer is
Star
eating
Singer.
salad.
Ah.
And
so
then
no,
you just
my meat
went
is-
and put meat in it.
He ate it anyway.
He ate it anyway.
You need protein.
He just looks up with salad all over his face. I get protein the normal way.
Meat is the normal way.
For you.
I eat until full, and then some. Well,
Because
maybe
Kasai's a little bit worried. He's like, you can get fat if you do it this way.
I'm gonna feed Kasai too.
He is eagerly eating everything you eat while also giving you sass.
Because yes.
How long will I look like Rainbow?
It should only be a couple minutes. It's probably gone by now.
After done eating, I'll go clean up.
After Loki spent all that
what?
time.
Your fur is like perfect by now.
You have been
Probably
groomed
successful
by your
day, though.
rabbit buddy.
Yeah, well, rabbits have a stress response of grooming, so I was being in character.
Oh, so you're grooming me as I'm eating? That's
Yeah,
fine.
I've been brushing you this whole time.
And periodically eating it himself.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Zethadramel has made a spot for Rolf to sleep.
While also goat-proofing his coat.
You see him wearing like an extra coat over his robe. It's like cinched closed with like a rope belt, and he like reaches in like a guy with like secret pockets in his jacket every so often just to make sure that shit's still in there. He's got the tome open up in front of him again. He says, "Welcome to breakfast, my friends.
Thanks. Thank
You all look like you've had a rather interesting evening."
We saw Shelley.
Who?
Or as Izumi calls him, Edgelord.
No, I call them dead.
Because I was just like, you're not. You're just making my point for me.
Is Shelthazar the Unrelenting? Is that the right one? Or am I thinking of another one?
You said it right.
Okay. That one.
Hence calling him Shelley.
He just kind of like rubs one of the pages with his hand, and it doesn't really look at anybody and says, "I'd kind of hoped that he wouldn't have made his presence known already."
Azumi takes his perks up with that. What do you mean already? What do you know of?
So,
Shelley.
he
Undead creature.
he closes the book. You see that he kind of like puts a little piece of paper in there to mark the place. It says, he looks at each of you in the eye and says, "Towards the beginning of a night's growth as a knight, you are tested. Your minds reach out across the across this plane every time you go to sleep. Sometimes the enemy responds, sometimes they do not. Most of the time, it's not powerful enough to really garner anyone's attention. But as you get more powerful and as your bond with your companion grows, it gets harder to ignore. Ask Sir William whenever you get a chance in the future, or even your mentors if you ever see them again. They'll tell you. The nightmares are only going to get worse. And it's usually not Shaldazar that answers first. Perhaps it's the Gorbel from the Dread Eye and the Wastes. Sometimes it's one of the monarchs from the Feylands. They're the better ones to wake up or to fall asleep to have visit your dreams, because at least their scariness is more in how goofy they are. But having the Necromancer King visit you in your dreams after your very first quest is not a good omen.
It could be that we stopped one of his plans.
It's like, well, you did prevent a bone golem from essentially erasing the ancestral Eyrie. It did ruin the mountain range for a good couple of miles.
Little dragon fire, that'll fix that right up.
Gersemi looks down and he's like, "That's not how Dragonfire works."
It's how yours works.
She kind of pauses for a second. He's like, "Fair." It goes back to eating whatever chunks of meat you give her.
There's been heroes before us. Why are these things still alive, able to haunt our dreams?
That is an excellent question, my young knight. As you know, 10 years ago, your mentors went out and laid siege to the Ashmount, the citadel of the Necromancer King. And they were partially successful. What the world knows is that Shaldazar died, defeated in combat, and his zombie horde scattered. However, what the world doesn't know, and now you'll know, is that, to say a very dumb line, somehow Shaldazar returned.
Oh no.
We believe that he has done one of two things. Either he has the ability to possess the bodies of his followers, perhaps one of his cultists, perhaps one of the multitudes of undead still wandering the the Ashlands, or the worst, far worst option, one we hope that he does not have the power to achieve, which is lichdom. If he is a lich, and it is in the old ways, and obviously not the way that Lady Death does it, then he has a phylactery that he's hidden somewhere and was able to come back after his body was destroyed.
I hate scavenger hunts.
They could certainly turn into that, yes. As for the other leaders of the other groups, it is very difficult to defeat the beastmen of the Chaos Wastes. They are nigh infinite. If it's not for the black pit around the Dread Eye, then it is the portals within the eye that can bring them from the planes of chaos onto our world. The great chieftain of the Beastmen is always, pretty much every generation has been defeated at least twice, always replaced by some other massive beast man who wins through feats of strength. As for the Fae, they cheat.
Yes.
We have not come up with a way to permanently remove them from our plane, nor prevent them from coming back due to their great cycle. They, as you know, the Fae are constantly reborn. When a Fae dies, because they can die of a normal death, and by normal I mean you stab them, they die as anyone that can be stabbed can die. Problem is that either in the past or in the future, they'll be reborn in some form or other. A Tuatha, which is the taller humanoid variant of the Fae, the ones that are considered the leadership, can come back as a pixie or a sprite. Sometimes even a brownie, which is always hilarious. And no, not the food. They'll figure out a way to get their old bodies back or use some kind of illusion magic and go back to where they were. Either in the future or, ironically enough, while their old body was still alive. So, the problem, good Sir Knight, is that one was dead, yet somehow came back. One is constantly being replaced in a nigh infinite army because anytime the Dread Eye is threatened, portals are opened up all over the place, bringing reinforcements scattered from across the wastes to reinforce it, making it very difficult to close the portals, if not impossible. And the last one, well, they keep coming back too.
We need iron.
Cold iron does not prevent them from coming back from the cycle. Cold iron just makes their magic stop working, at least against you. It makes them die a very nasty death.
What if we burn them?
The same thing. Then you just get to hear them scream and they burn. It's a very torturous death.
So what kills them?
Anything can kill them. We just haven't found a way to permanently kill them. Because we're pretty sure that once we figure out how to cut them from the cycle, they'll probably just leave on their own. Because they have this reckless abandon to them due to the fact that they could just come back.
Well, if we cleansed the orb
by
with
mixing Phoenix and Dragonfire.
I don't know if that would work for Faye. It might just make them come back, but with a different haircut. Or turn them into some other form of Fae. Magic does very wonky things when Fae are involved. The best way to kill a Fae is to not use magic at all. At least not any normal form of magic. Experimentation has been done with imbuing weapons with certain properties. There was some good success when it came to imbuing weapons with chaos properties, but the madness-inducing effects of chaos made it very difficult to really test the weapons in a more structured way. The experiments and the testees, their mental fragility made it very difficult.
So about this quest.
Yeah, you get to solve a murder.
That seems a lot more doable.
He
Let's
opens up
work
the
on
book again.
everything else.
He opens up the book again. He pushes it towards your side of the table. You see that it has like lovely like splash art of you as a group going after some masked, hooded figure on like a wild chase. So it's like very like speed art kind of thing, and it's done with watercolor. The quest is detailed as a prominent member in Crossroads. A prominent member of the Pact had visited Crossroads to make a diplomatic deal with another nation to solidify trade arrangements between Ioswin and, in fact, Nehutorum. So it was a Aarakocra and we believe a lizard man is what they were going to meet in Crossroads at one of their more prominent taverns. The two met, they made their trade agreements, and when they were going to meet the following morning, the Aarakocra did not show up. After several hours of no appearance, the diplomat went to go visit the Aarakocra's hotel room, where they found the Aarakocra murdered. Ba-dum, dum, da. Had a knife in his back that has a emblem of an assassin's guild in the pommel. However, due to the nefarious nature of this guild, no one has either moved the body nor taken the blade out, because this particular assassin's group, they're called the Bloodied Hand. They leave their knives behind because those knives are cursed. It keeps the body warm, constantly making it bleed, and anyone who takes out the blade is marked for death by the Assassin's Guild, essentially perpetuating this infinite death order. So the constabulary of Crossroads has sectioned off that part of the hotel. They have gathered witnesses and people that may or may not have attempted to get this guy murdered, either through an assassination contract or dumb luck. Either way, they're holding all of these questionable people in Crossroads at a different inn, where the diplomat is also currently being held due to having seen and talked to the victim last. There is a librarian in attendance. You'd be more than welcome to talk to them, maybe get a little bit more information. There are currently 5 suspects, all of which have some kind of reason why they would want to kill the guy. You'll have to get their reasoning from the constabulary and the librarian. Your quest in this instance is figure out who done did it, and if needed, figure out where the assassins are. As a bonus side of the quest, if you figure out where the assassins are, and you take care of them, that would certainly be nice for the rest of the world.
Okay, Frankstone's just gonna focus on the watercolor for a second, and then look at Z and go, "Had some free time on your hand, huh?"
I didn't do this. He just like lifts his hands and you see them like visibly shake. It's like, I can't paint that. I can barely even cook.
You do such a good job cooking.
Gives you a very soft smile. Says, because I take my time. All the burnt stuff I tend to put in the trash can.
Uh-oh.
This is about as it's about a 75% of everything that I've made currently sitting on these 2 tables.
Oh. That's fair.
I'm trying to get the other caretakers of this place to give me some constructs to help me out, but I'm currently in the wind, as it may, to get helpers. And he like points at the little crystal guys wandering around cleaning things. Like, they can't cook. The one that he points at turns and says, like, you just hear this like nails across a chalkboard kind of like chitter scratch before going back to what he's doing. And Zethedramel like puts his hand up to his heart and is like, that was such a callous way of saying that.
That's so rude.
I thought they were more polite than that. I taught them better. Rolf in the background goes, meh. He goes back to noisily.
No idea how he got it.
He's noisily chowing down on a piece of crystal, and there's a little crystal guy next to him trying to get his hand back. It's just so Thedrel is just hand.
Oh my.
He's just like has to do like a double take. It's like, how did you get his hand? He busies himself trying to relieve a very confused goat of the hand it is currently trying to eat. Well, all you hear is like the kind of stony crunch of goat teeth trying to eat crystal.
He tried to eat the transportation.
Gersemi just kind of like pats you on the top of the head. Is like, it's okay. I stutter too.
I think Izumi wants to go.
Man.
Okay, let's go to Crossroads.
Is everybody done eating?
Yeah.
Yeah, Zumi gets up, stomps over to the door, walks out. We need to go find this murderer.
Zoomy. He's got the zoomies.
Zumi's zooming away.
Apparently Borb is in a tree.
Yeah. And Ralph is now in the middle of the room.
Rolf is not coming with you.
He's here now.
Izumi ate and has been brushed.
Still
Still in a foul mood.
Still in a foul mood.
I look great, but I am still angry.
Well, I rolled a 1, so I'm trying to as if I rolled a 1.
Yeah. He's doing a great job.
Edgelord.
I rolled low, so that's why I was like, well, I gotta continue this a little bit.
I rolled really well.
As the teleporter circle ignites, filling the area with the pinkish purplish light, you find yourselves in the middle of the largest part of the continent. If it'll fucking let me. Wow.
Whoa.
You know what? We'll just do it this way. You find yourselves in Crossroads, a massive city. Oh, you're supposed to be over here. You appear in like a kind of courtyard area with a large building around you in kind of like a U shape. You're on like a raised pedestal that's like made out of what looks like carved gray marble. The building around you is kind of the same gray. A large sign hangs from the front of it that says Grand Knight HQ. Another sign dangles from it, a little bit smaller. It says all petitions welcome. Underneath that is another sign that says except for you, Stephen. And then underneath that is a slightly larger sign that says yes, we do require shoes.
Damn.
I don't have shoes.
I don't have shoes either.
You hear a passerby as this is like all of the road is filled with people going back and forth, giant carriages, giant carts going back and forth. A passerby, as you make this observation, all you hear is this, sounds like you're shit out of luck.
Oh, really?
Does that mean we can't go into our own HQ?
You're lucky I ate.
You don't even know who it was that said it.
Izumi would have just literally eaten everyone. in front of
Yes,
them.
it's just, I had a bad dream.
Talk about biting people's heads off.
Yeah.
Come back here, you loudmouth.
You see, like, the road is large enough that's equivalent of like a 6-lane road. You've got different lanes for like the different carriages and carts. You've got pedestrian, and you've got people riding on like horses and other various mounts, going both directions, both going into Crossroads and leaving. Down the street to your left, to the northwestish, is a massive bazaar. You can
So is
find
this place,
pretty much everywhere.
so is it pretty crowded? Like it's hard for us to move?
It's not necessarily easy for you to move around. You're still gonna get like bumped by people, or people will like kind of like meander their way out of your way. But it is filled with every walks of life, every walk of life, not walks of life.
All right, after that person shouts that, and since I'm in a bad mood, I'm gonna do my daunting roar as a bonus action, and scare everyone.
Terrorize the locals.
Okay, you see a whole bunch of the nearby people just kind of like some people like crouch down on the road and like holding their hands over their ears kind of thing. You see a handful of like other Leonin and Tabaxi nearby, several of which are like kind of like fancily dressed. They seem unaffected, and you hear one of them just go like, "How rude! So uncouth."
Dude's
I just
giving us
stand there
infamy
looking-
points.
I just stand there looking vigilant. Now we have room to walk.
You do hear like comments about waking up on the wrong side of the litter box.
Oh, that's rude.
Now that is not very nice. Izumi is going. Oh shoot! I can't use my roar again.
Nope.
Nope.
I gotta have a long rest or a short.
Do a perception check for me to see if you can figure out what kind of person made that comment.
Nope.
Nope, you
He's
didn't do a
lucky.
very good job.
Oh, can I do a perception check? Because I would 100% be paying attention and backing my bestie.
Sure.
We should all do perception checks.
Loki, you're able to figure out that it wasn't one of the other like cat species that said it, but some sounded almost human, if not maybe one of the other like elf or like dwarf races that is wandering around. It didn't have the kind of warble that some of the other like beast races would have.
Is there a river going through this
No,
town?
all of that dark stuff is paved road.
Okay.
I couldn't tell exactly who said it.
No, you know what kind of race it was, but not necessarily who specifically said it.
It's probably better. It's probably for the best you didn't know.
I think someone might have lost their head anyway.
Racist losers.
All right, let's go find this murderer.
Should we check in at the headquarters first? Or send Loki in to check in? Because, wait, Loki, are you wearing shoes?
No.
I'm not wearing shoes, but I'm going in anyway.
I think, the Grand Knight headquarters can accommodate Grand Knights.
Are you making this comment as you're walking in?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, like, you step inside and you see, like, there's two guards standing right next to the door on the interior. Like, you're brought into essentially, like, feels like a doctor's office where you've got, like, chairs lining the two walls. You've got, like, ficuses and ferns next to some of the chairs. You've got, like, the receptionist,
Don't eat
like,
Suzuki.
directly away. The person behind the counter is a... Ooh, let's do a D20 and
Ooh.
see which species it is.
Oh, what is
great.
that?
Human.
Okay.
It's a very nicely dressed lady. She's got like a frilly dress. She's got like her hair pulled back in a bun. She's got like jewelry in her ears and around her neck. It takes her about a solid 2 seconds as you enter into the room to go from glaring and looking at your like bare feet and then looking directly at you and panic setting in. Because the two guards next to you, all they can see is the people not wearing shoes. And it kind of happens in slow motion where the guards like start taking breaths to like yell things or like at least say things to you before she's standing up and throwing books at them.
Throwing books at the guards?
Yeah. And the guards are like, "What the hell, Lilith?" She's like, "Do you know who the fuck these people are?" And they're like, "People without shoes?" It's like, these are the fucking Grand Knights. They don't need shoes. This is their headquarters. She's like,
We're here to help them.
like she stomps around the desk and like ushers you towards one of the back rooms and just kind of gives them like a quiet tongue lashing. It's just like, how the fuck do you not recognize the heroes of this alliance of nations? You're terrible. You're just a disgrace. And I'm gonna tell your moms.
Whoa.
And they're like, oh, "Here, stepping out of line, Lily." And she's just like, "You just fucking watch." Leads you to a back office and says, "I'm so sorry." She like puts her her hands together and like kind of like a prayer kind of thing. She bows deeply and says, "I am so deeply sorry that they were about to shout nasty obscenities at you, as they just apparently are going to assume that you're like homeless without having shoes on."
That's
Well,
okay.
With the spectacle of all that, Umi just growls out this huge boisterous laughter for like 3 minutes.
They don't really make shoes for rabbits. It's... You'd think that they'd come up with something by now, but they don't really do that.
Looking at my claws, I'm like, I tear through shoes.
Yeah.
I look at Loki and say, "Now that lady's fun."
Yeah, that's true.
She says, "Before I grab the administrator, is there anything that you need? Like, would you like something to drink? Have you eaten any food? Do you want a dessert? We have care packages if you want. I've got a series of letters from children that have been made asking for a series of things. There's a couple of the funny ones that are left in there. Most of the other ones are, come by my house so I don't have to brush my teeth anymore kind of things."
I look at her and I say, "I'm definitely not asking for shoes." And then I get that Chris laughter again.
Just like a knee slapper kind of thing. Her face remains completely emotionless.
She's like, "This isn't funny, but I'm gonna pretend like it is just because these people are important."
I think we're good.
I
The
think we're
children's
good.
letter would be nice. The children's letters would be nice.
So she nods, bows again, closes the door. You can hear from the other side. She continues to berate the guards.
Oh my goodness.
Ranging from "I've known you since childhood. How dare you betray me like this?" to I've already sent messages to your mothers, and they are very, very distressed. The amount of dishonor that you've laid upon your families is enough to cause your father to contemplate ritual suicide.
But with hearing that, I want to go in and open the door, and I want to look at both of them sternly and say, "Ma'am, with the disrespect they've shown me, I want to take them to their mom's house."
Mighty ears.
And then when they have that look of panic, I'm just going to start that boisterous laughter again and walk out and close the door.
Have a point of inspiration.
All right.
Jeez.
He just 180 to
Yeah.
Yep.
She comes back in with a box, leaves, and then comes back in with another box. And after the course of several minutes pass, there's like 4 boxes. And they're all like decent sized boxes, and they are filled to the brim with handwritten letters from children from all over both Crossroads and this province. Which Crossroads being the capital of the province, all of it comes here anyway through the mail. The mail is brought to the headquarters, and then given to her. There's no mailing address for the Citadel, so there's no way she could have gotten these to you until you visited. These have been building up for the last 2 years, she says, taking out a handful of the ones that are in a select pouch where it is written "the weird ones." The rest of them are either in the funny box or the please tell my parents to stop making me do this miscellaneous chore.
I want the weird ones.
Yeah.
I want you to roll a D8.
All of us or just him?
Nope, just him. Okay.
I've been rolling high and everything else.
The one that you open up begins with a drawing of a coatl. The feathered serpent that Borb has with him.
Slinky.
It begins with "Dear Grand Knights," and it's written in like a child script where knight is spelled without the K, and it's DEER.
Okay.
It says, "I don't believe that coatls exist. I believe that these are just snakes wearing bird feathers and pretending to fly. Prove me wrong."
We must show this to Slinky and Borb. I'm specifically putting this letter in my pocket to show it to Slinky and Borb.
What would I gotta remember what Slinky's personality is? He just speaks real fast. Okay. We'll have Borb and Slinky's response next week.
Next week.
I want to read one of the weird ones.
I roll a D8. If you roll a D2, you get to roll again. Or roll a 2,
Yeah.
you roll again. You got the one that, after seeing the first one that he opened up, where everything's misspelled, it's all like canted slightly to the side, has a terrible like coatl drawing on it. This one is very neat. You could see the light impression of a ruler that this child used to make sure all of their lines are straight. It says, "Dear Knights," and in parentheses, it lists all of your colors. It goes red, green, white, blue, yellow, a different shade of blue, that different shade of pink, close parentheses.
Okay.
You do notice that it does not say anything about white.
Does not say white?
Nope.
Oh, rude. What does the rest of the letter say?
It says, let me read it real quick.
He somehow knew we would pick the weird ones.
Of course, yeah. If you've got boxes and boxes of stuff to go through and only 8 of something else, you're gonna start with the 8 first.
How do you get the wings attached to a horse to make them into a unicorn? Is it through magic? Do you use very advanced tape? Is it part of the saddle? Is the white knight real? Why is it a rabbit? How did he get an outfit big enough to fit him? And then in parentheses underneath it says, we probably wear the same size. You can ignore that question. Close parentheses. Do you know what size of clothes he wears? Can I get some? Thanks, Ted. In parentheses, not a grand knight, just interested in white knight clothing and whether or not white knights are really real. Okay, things by. Close parentheses.
Am I real?
It's just,
reaches over and pokes you.
it's just existential crisis.
Frankston reaches over and pokes you. Feel real.
Okay.
Starsinger clops over and is like, do you want me to prove that you're real, bro?
I think I'm real. I'm good.
You sure?
Okay, go ahead.
It just boops you and he makes you rainbow again.
All right. Fantastic.
And he just kind of like turns and looks at Frackstone and very quickly boops you with his horn before clopping away. So now you are also rainbow.
I can't believe a kid just used it as my pronoun. Why is it a rabbit? I am a man.
Well, he does refer to you as he further on. Because the question was why is it, aka the White Knight, a rabbit?
Yeah. Why is he a rabbit? That's
Well, the it was in reference to the title.
I look at Starsinger and just go, so how's that tape holding?
He just kind of like looks around and is like, is it tape? And you just see him just like slowly rotating in a circle as he's trying to see his sides.
I'm gonna stab Fraxstone.
Hey, he booped me.
Nah, he's got an AC of 17.
He's got an AC of 17.
Yes.
What?
Because he's a real dragon man.
Dang.
He's doubled down on being dragon.
I've tripled down on being dragon. I've got Gersemi.
I mean,
I have a 19 armor class. When my armor
look at
is
you.
activated, yeah. Give me a bad dream again.
See, my armor will protect me. Did you want to read another weird letter, or did you want to?
Oh yes, let's read another weird letter.
Okay.
I just think we're trying to delay the plot so that way more people can join us next week.
Well, I will have Izumi roll the D8.
Oh.
Yeah.
I got the 8.
You sure did.
Alright, hold on, I gotta figure out where I can roll this at, because things changed on this thing. Alright, here we go. Oh, that's a D20.
No, you gotta do the D8. That's just like, it doesn't go above 8. Roll again. If you get a 2 or a 3. Okay. Number 6.
I got the letter for me. About me. Rude.
Dear Knights, specifically in quotation marks, the Red Knight.
Ooh,
End quotation
Ooh,
marks.
he got his letter.
Are you actually a cat? Or are you a person running around in a suit pretending to be a cat? Because you see, I love cats very, 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 very much. And I will be sorely disappointed if you are not actually a cat.
Does it
Please.
have a name?
It says at the bottom. It says, "Thanks, Savannah.
I'm gonna barge into the room where the lady's yelling at the guards.
Well,
and I'm
she's
gonna
not yelling
say,
at him anymore.
Oh, I'm barging in there and I'm gonna show him this letter. It said, "Where can I find Savannah?"
She's just like, just kind of raises her eyebrow, and it's just like, I mean, he probably has like the address on there somewhere.
Take me, either take us there, or have someone take us there.
She just kind of looks around and is like, the administrator's almost here. That's like a good 10-minute walk.
The administrator can wait. This child needs to know.
She wants to know if I'm a real cat. I want to prove it to her that I am.
Did you want to read the rest of the letter? Because it didn't end there.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
After the statement of being very disappointed of whether and if you aren't really a cat, it does. She does request that you submit an essay, stating
essay?
stating the qualities of catness and the request to meet in person.
He wants me to give her a verbal essay, so I am on my way.
Well, it's a
It
written
doesn't
essay.
say verbal.
Oh,
Technically, it just says an essay.
I'm gonna go give her a verbal essay.
Okay. The receptionist like gives the guards a glare, and one of them steps forward. And is like, I'll show you where she lives.
Move quickly.
She's going to meet all three of the knights that are here.
Yes. You are brought into the interior portion of Crossroads. You're brought over here into the lower income housing. They're not necessarily slums, but they're not necessarily not slums. Multiple families live in each building, and they're like 3 to 4 stories tall, which looks like people just grabbed a house and stuck it on top of another house, and then grabbed another house and put that on top of the next one.
I'm gonna be honest. That might have actually happened in this place. With the amount of magic and stuff in this nation, that might have happened. Just think about it.
The guard reading the back of the letter, because it's all like the same piece of paper, just like folded up and stuff. He hands it back to you, Izumi, and points directly at the multi-storied, very long stairway, set of stairs leading up to each different little house up above. He points at the second floor and says, "That is her house."
I go up there and I knock.
You hear like the sound of like things being put away and a scamper of tiny feet. That opening up the door, you see a little elven girl wearing a dirty pink dress with an apple in one hand and just sticky all over her face. And so like she sees you at the knee, and then her eyes slowly travel up until she looks you dead in the face. It just gets like this dead look on her face as you can see like the buck teeth, or like the 2 remaining teeth in her mouth. She's like, "What? Are you the Red Knight?"
I am. Are you Savannah? Did you write this?
She like nods emphatically.
Do I look like a fake cat?
You see she narrows her eyes and like walks around you. She like touches your tail and like rubs up and down it for a second. She like reaches into your coat and starts like touching like the fur that she can touch. She actually like climbs up you and
Do I
like
look like a tree, little girl?
what?
I said, do I look like a tree, little girl?
She does not make any comment. She like it gets to the back of your head and works her. I want you to do a Constitution save for me.
And I'm just gonna stand there with my arms crossed too. Constitution save.
So she was eating an apple, and her face is covered in apple juice. Her fingers are just as sticky as her face, and she is rubbing her fingers all through the fur on your head.
Can I pick her up by
Lovely.
like her her.
Love you again.
Well, she's behind your head, so you'd have to like reach behind you, kind of thing.
I'm gonna reach behind her and pick her up by the scuff of her shirt. I don't want to harm her. And I'm gonna put her face right in front of my face.
You see that she's got this very determined look on her face.
Did you ask permission to climb all over me like a tree?
She like she like puts her finger out. And she says, "I'm testing as to the veracity of you being a kitty."
I'm gonna hold her in my arm like a little baby. You baby, me, king of the jungle.
She's like, "What?"
I'm just gonna say, the fact that he scruffed you like a kitten should probably help.
She just looks down and she like you can see her eyes like get wide. You can see like the pupils dilate, and she's like, "It's a bunny."
I'll take one of her hands and I'll open my mouth and have one of her fingers touch like one of my fang teeth.
And you see her like shiver a little bit before she gives you the warmest hug you've ever had in your life.
She
Also,
is so happy.
the stickiest hug you've ever had in your life.
And I will hug her back and I'll look at the guard. See that this little girl is taken care of. And you're not meant to use ever again.
You see like he's like wiping away a tear. He's like, "Sure, I'll tell the administrator, man."
Well, we're going back to speak to the administrator, so I will tell him. But I'm giving it to you as a duty to look in on this family and take care of this girl and make sure you help her fix her teeth.
She like rears back from giving you a hug. Is like, "I lost it all of them chasing after cats.
Oh my god.
I ran into a wall once."
Well, maybe you should stay put and learn.
Mom says I have big feet. She like wiggles her feet, and you can see that she's not wearing any shoes, but she does have rather disproportionately large feet versus her very small elven body.
Well, from climbing all over me, I'm going to tickle her feet.
She wails in laughter.
Well, little one, are you satisfied? Did I answer your letter appropriately?
You're supposed to provide an essay, she says, backhandedly.
You think this was better than an essay?
She gives it a really long, hard think. And she says, "Yeah, I guess. Are you gonna come visit again?"
If you keep writing letters, I might.
Okay. And she like leaps out of your arms and races inside. You see her mom come out. She's looks very similar to her. They both have blonde hair. She just looks like a more mature version of the kid, and she's just got this very large grin on her face. She's like, "You know, you didn't have to do that. You could have just wrote the essay."
Well, I do things in person. And
He doesn't like writing.
It's like
I want to know if you guys are taken care of.
No,
I
we're
gave this guard orders to make sure you guys are taken care of, and I want to see that her teeth are fixed.
you see her like look down. The guard is like trying to hide his face. Is like, "Is that fucking Kenny? He's my neighbor." He just like points towards like one of the houses nearby, and you see another kid in a window waving emphatically. Kenny's like, "Go the fuck back inside."
And, I'll do like a nice growl and not like a ferocious one. And then with that, I say to my friends, it's time to depart and get back to our guild.
Our quest, yeah.
She's like, "Enjoy being knights. You've made Savannah's lifetime. Honey, get out of the drawer." She like closes the door, and you can hear her kind of yelling a little. It's like, "No, you don't get to write a letter now. He's right outside. Put the cat down." No, the cat can't write for you.
And I just start my laughter as I go down, and I look at my friends. I say, "Now that made my day." Let's go catch this murderer.
Yeah.
Everybody gets inspiration.
Yeah.
Yee!
You can have an extra one, Izumi. Just
Oh,
for
wow.
being
How did I
nice to
get-
the kid. Just remember that if you use one, you get it again.
Oh, okay. I will put that in my bio. I guess.
Before I get into the quest proceedings, it is about half hour before we usually end it, and to prevent having to re-explain things next week, I'm going to recommend that we stop it here.
We can't do another letter?
We might have more houses to visit.
If you roll the 8 again, you could read that one.
Okay.
But only if you roll, each of you can roll once.
No.
Ah!
Oh,
Yay!
okay.
Little shit.
No, I'm a big shit.
Alright, as you get back to headquarters, and Kenny busies himself not having a happy cry at that child's expense, you reach in and grab what is currently labeled as the weirdest one.
Yes.
All right.
I want
Read.
all three of you to do a wisdom save for me.
Wow.
Wisdom save. Gonna
Yeah.
fail this.
Oh, no.
Oh yeah. Oh no.
That's okay. You open up the letter, and you find that it is covered in miscellaneous doodles, all of them being strange, disproportionate caricatures of each knight.
Yay!
Izumi is depicted as very large upper body, very tiny lower body, and a very tiny head. Frackstone is a stick figure with like feet that point out at odd angles with a like kind of like a devil tail, and looks like your face was drawn multiple times, but then just scratched out and the word face is written next to it.
Okay, this just cracks him up.
Loki is literally just a drawn picture of just a normal rabbit wearing a hood. And it says, in terrible handwriting, is I still things? And it's
Yeah,
a
no, that's
lowercase.
actually so accurate.
It's a lowercase I STLTHNGZ.
Yeah, that's accurate.
Have I don't know if I've really been open about the fact that I'm like a big old thief.
Well, everybody in the Empire knows what you did.
Everyone here knows. It's everywhere else that they're like, okay, yeah, just white knight dude.
You were a mythological figure until you popped up. Everyone's just like, that's a rabbit wearing a fucking cloak. It got most of the fucking unicorns to bow. And then for the last 2 years, like, all of your life has been cycling through the newspaper.
Everyone's like,
Well,
Bunny Hood over
yeah.
there, Bunny Hood over here. And it's like, okay, well,
Well, like,
Bunny Hood, new white knight?
yeah.
Loki?
It's just like, newest white knight.
Bunny Hood.
Bunny
name
Hood.
revealed.
And like your like picture taken, and you're like with Star Singer, and it's just like his name is Loki Haresworth. All of his
Why would you
crimes
get
have been
that?
forgiven. Nobility not at rest. Oh no, mass unrest amongst the aristocracy. There's like personal interviews with like all of them.
He stole this much from me.
The letter is nonsense. It is words that you're not really able to decipher, but what you get from it is a similar existential crisis that Loki had when brought to the question of, is the White Knight real? A lot of
Is any of the nights real in this letter?
it is reality real, or is this all a dream? You learn throughout the course of the letter that through trial and error, as you, as a team, decipher this child's mad writing, is that he is a paraplegic. He can't leave his room, and magic is the only thing that keeps the pain from overwhelming his mind. And he is under the assumption that nothing is real. And that he hopes that by the time you get this letter, he might still be alive for you to answer the question for him.
Let's go visit the kid.
Let's go visit this kid.
Yeah, let's go visit the kid. But, like, let's also bring him things that he's unlikely to have had.
Cinnamon rolls.
I don't know. I feel like he's likely to have, like, had food and flowers and, like, stuff. But what's something that, like, you wouldn't think to give a paraplegic kid?
Well, would you like my advice, or would you like to continue to think about it?
Oh, I'd like your advice, please.
Yes.
What things do you have that no one else generally does?
Creatures.
Creatures.
What
but we
things?
can't give them to the kid.
Well, what things
have
can
our
those
pet.
creatures produce that would make a kid with a very short lifespan happy and prove that this is not a dream?
Let's take our pets.
I mean, yeah, but, what is... Starsinger can turn things rainbow and can do some healing. Oh, what if Starsinger... Would Starsinger be able to heal with Purify?
Only one way to find out.
Let's
and
go find
removes all diseases and neutralizes all poison. I mean, he can try to purify, but if not, he'll just, like, rainbow the boy, and that'll be entertaining.
Well,
Can
you can
Cassandra-
also either give him a
Can-
feather or like hair from his mane kind of thing.
Yeah, we can do that. I
What
think it'll
about-
be fun.
What about a feather from Kasai?
Phoenix
Yeah.
feathers are very powerful,
Yes.
and
Mixed
dragon
with,
scales are very powerful too.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna turn him into a little dragonborn that can fly and turn on fire.
Yeah, let's go visit the guy and give him, like, stuff from all the creatures.
You put the feather on him, he bursts into flames.
Oh no, don't do that.
But then
He's able to
That'd
stand
be
up and walk
awful.
though.
He can't run away.
But then he's reborn, able to walk.
No.
He's paraplegic, so that means it's only his legs don't work.
Yes.
I mean, yeah.
I had to make sure that I was remembering the correct thing.
Quadriplegic is... paraplegic is 2 limbs not working. Quadriplegic is 4 limbs not working.
Uh-huh.
And
I would
most
be
of the
rather
time people
impressed-
use para for the legs, but it can also be applied for arms, but it will confuse whoever you're talking to.
I'd also like to point out I'd be very impressed if a quadriplegic wrote and did all those doodles.
You can do it with your mouth, because you can still move your neck.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying I'd be very impressed.
Yeah. Having the handwriting to write, I steal things, even if it's not correct.
So as you go out into the main room again to ask the receptionist to bring you to this next child, she looks at the note, looks up back at you, and looks back at the note again. She says, "Are you sure?"
Yes.
Yes.
So like she takes the letter from you and like gently folds it back up and says, "This little guy, he's been sending his letters for every month for the last 2 years. This was the letter he sent last month. We haven't gotten another one.
Oh, no.
I don't know if he's still around or if he's just so unwell that he can't send one. He is currently located at the Crossroads Temple of Vitar, our local hospital.
Wow.
His condition makes it so that he can't leave. Not just because he can't leave under his own power, but because Vitar has him in one of his special rooms.
Let's make haste.
She's
Yes.
she looks at the guards and says, "I'll lead him this time." And the guards are like, "Okay, what do we want me to do with the administrators?" Like, these people are answering letters from children. The administrator could wait. And the guards just kind of look at each other and like, "You said it." So she leads you across town to a very large temple. And on the interior of it, you are reminded of the temples that you've seen dedicated to Vitar all across the world. Every major town, every few miles has a temple or shrine, or in the case of Tarvis Mela's capital city, the White City, you've got the Ancestral Eyrie, you've got the Beacon. All of them have a cathedral belonging to Vitar. He's the god of healing, he's the god of light. He's the goody two shoes, lawful good god. You're immediately reminded about a hospital. Like, you go in through the main doors, you're in like another receptionist room, but everything is sterile. There's no fancy lady in a fancy getup behind the receptionist desk. There's a cleric wearing the pure white and red of Vitar. He is a orc.
Fun.
Has like a bald head, has like a little bit of a goatee. He's got like the emblem of Vitar around his neck. It looks like he's going through some kind of logbook and talking into a sending stone. You can hear beyond him, beyond the wall, the rustle and bustle of doctors and clerics and priests and every known healer you can think of. There's multiple floors inside this temple. You know that beyond all of it, because they're all kind of the same, are all of the patient rooms, and in some cases there's a triage parlor and waiting rooms. There's like all the different like the OR, ER, that kind of representation. There's not necessarily called the same, but those kinds of places exist. The receptionist lady brings you up to the desk, and as the orc looks up, and he like has like a kind of beneficent smile plastered across his face, she slowly slides over the letter, and he takes a look at it, and then it takes him about a second to recognize the stilted handwriting on it, and you see his green skin gets a little bit paler. And he looks up and he looks at you all gathered behind her, and he says, "Ah, you'd be the only ones to come visit him. Nobody else has the heart anymore." And you see he kind of like chokes back a little bit, and he stands up and looks at the receptionist and says, I'll lead him over there. Vitar already knows they're here." He says, "If you follow me, I'll bring you right to him."
All right.
We follow.
And he leads you through a series of winding corridors. Every priest and cleric that you pass by kind of gives you a little bit of an odd look before realization kind of dawns on their faces, and you can hear them as you finish passing by that they start to say prayers as you walk past. You're led up a series of stairs, and at the very end of it, you're brought to a circle, like a runic circle. The priest or the cleric has you gather around inside the circle, and he speaks a word of prayer, and a set of doors open up right behind the circle, and you're brought into a very large room. And it takes your eyes a minute to adjust to the darkness, where you see there is a single bed in the center, like pushed up against the wall. There is like a couple of side tables with it covered in, looks like potions with varying levels of liquids in them, ranging from completely empty to about half full. What makes your eyes kind of widen is that decorating all of the walls are pictures of you. each of you, in different kind of cartoonish depictions, and all of them written with like a very young hand with words underneath each one. And it says like, he's the biggest one, but strangely enough, he's a cat. Does he push things off of counters like Whiskers does?
He's so cute.
The one about Fraxstone is still the same picture, and he can't get your face right. So he just scratches it out and writes the word face.
Works for me.
And it says, "Why are dragons so cool to such a degree I can't draw them?"
Yes.
Gersemi just looks like a bird, but made more lizardy. Kasai is just straight up a bird, but it's like a V with a face. Loki is still the same, like, feral rabbit with a hood.
It's very accurate to my media portrayal.
With, like, a horse, but, like, the horse is smaller than the rabbit. And these walls are covered. Like, you can't see any of the wall behind the pictures. And underneath all of them are stories about each of you. And as you take closer looks, you see that these are all the newspaper clippings from all of your representative kingdoms about you, going over your lives, your accomplishments, the things you did before you became a knight, and all of them portrayed in a very heroic way. And they all have little notes that he made talking about just how cool all of you are.
So all lies about Loki.
No, they are
No.
complete truth.
They are so true. I was a folk hero, so the only people that didn't like me were nobles because
I know, but I had to make the joke.
Situated on the bed itself is a young boy who, as you take a closer look, has a series of bandages just kind of wrapped around the majority of his body. He is in darkness. Like, the only light comes from a large runic script embedded in the ceiling that pours red light down from above. He is currently asleep. You see that there is as you take a closer look at him as he sleeps, you can see on all the exposed skin, there are these blue glowing veins that are slowly creeping towards his face. He's got short brown hair, a number of scars and pock marks across his face. He's sleeping fitfully, but you can see that he can't turn over. He is laying straight on his back, propped up by pillows that looks like he personally decorated them himself. If this was a modern setting, he'd have all sorts of equipment monitoring his every heartbeat, every little bit of his person. Instead, he's got a number of runic scripts embedded around the bed that fluctuate with his heartbeat. If any of you have Arcana, you'd be able to read some of the stuff that's coming off of those scripts.
it'd be Fraxstone, wouldn't it?
You can tell that these are all like biological readings, ranging from like the equivalent of blood sugar to blood pressure and all that stuff. So it's a little bit Greek to you, but you can get the gist of it. And as you're looking at this poor kid who idolizes all of you, the cleric has left. He's no longer in the room with you. Instead, there is a man that represents your race. Each of your races all at once. To Azumi, he looks like a Tabaxi or a Leonin. To Fraxstone, he looks like a Dragonborn. to Loki, strangely enough, he looks like a rabbit folk. Harengon, as your species is. He's wearing like a tunic and like a vest over it. He's got like a pair of pants and a he is wearing shoes. So it's a little bit like off-putting. It looks like he's like wiping off his hands with a towel, and you can see that the towel is stained red. Regardless of which one of you is looking at him, he is pure white with red eyes. He's got kind of a small, patient smile on his face as he looks at the kid and says, he looks at each of you and he says, I'm a god and I can't even fix this guy. He points up at the script up above and says, yeah, well, he looks at Fraxstone first. He's like, are you familiar with Burnout, young knight?
Would I be?
With a 19, you know that arcane burnout is when you try to channel too much magic and your body literally fights you for it. And if you do it too much, every time you cast magic, you potentially die. It's a physical pain from casting magic.
Yes.
So he points to the script and then he points to the kid and says, our young friend here was a magical prodigy in his early stages of childhood. Problem is that he had wild magic.
Oof.
And he kind of gives you a little bit of a small smile and says, you're probably aware of what that is.
Mm-hmm.
It did not go well for him. He did not have the easily controlled wild magic. It all went wrong all at once. But instead of happening around him, it happened inside of him. He got massive burnout at the age of 4. He is 8 years old. He has been like this for the last 4 years. I'm surprised he's made it this long. His body is systematically shutting down. That runic circle above is temporal magic. It slows down his biology in terms of the burnout, at least. We can slow it down, but we can't prevent it. And like I said, I'm a god, and I can't even make a kid feel better with his body dying underneath him. And he looks at you. I'm sorry?
No, go ahead.
Well, he looks at you and he says, you being here is probably the most positive thing that he can experience with what little time he has left.
What is the Phoenix's name again?
Kasai.
Kasai.
I'm wondering if we can channel our magic through Kasai to maybe renew the body.
Well, if we channel the...
Because burnout is a physical thing. If we just renew the body, as in rebuild it from the very start, burnout would disappear. It's not a spiritual thing. It's a physical effect of oversaturation of magic. If we channel all of our power through Kasai, we might be able to help.
Are you saying this out loud?
Yes.
Okay.
This is the magic you're thinking
but
through.
Since it's a physical thing, maybe we should channel it through Starsinger, so that way instead of making this kid go through this whole rebirth thing, we're just fixing, because that's what Starsinger does. Starsinger can purify and heal him.
I'm gonna talk to Kasai and ask her if she knows what to do.
Kasai has this very concerned look on her face as she looks at the kid and says, I've never really tried to rebirth someone else. I mean, I do it all the time. It scared the shit out of me this morning. I literally died. I came back, but it's like normal for me. But this kid, I don't know if I can do it right. I'm kind of scared, man.
What if we use one of your? Are you willing to give a feather and maybe a teardrop?
Yeah. Anything to help this kid, even just a little.
And then I look at Loki. What has Starsinger told you? Kasai's willing to give a feather and a teardrop.
I'm gonna ask Starsinger. I'm like, Starsinger, what do you think could be done?
You just kind of turn expecting Starsinger to be standing behind you, but he is kind of off to the side, and you hear this very guilty crunch. As he turns around, and it looks like he's like eating like crayons. He's got like the wax all over his teeth and all on his lips, and he just like looks at you. He kind of like looks at everybody else who's now staring at him, and he just this is like experimental. Looks at the kid, looks at Vitar, looks at you, Loki. He says, I don't know. I've not really like fixed like burnout and stuff, man. Like I'm like 2 years old.
I know, but yeah, I know.
I mean, if we combine our magic and maybe get some little bit of luck from what's her name again? And looks
divine guidance there.
And like looks at Vitar, and Vitar's just like, what? Just looks at everybody. He's like, you're literally my patron animal. How do you not know who I am? He just kind of like kind of squints at him and is like, yeah, I don't recognize you. It does another loud crunch of crayon. He's like, well, whatever.
Stop eating those crayons.
He just like spits them out as like a glob on the floor. And Vitar is just like, I can fix it. Don't worry about it. It's like, why is the horse eating fucking crayons anyway? It's like, they looked tasty. They weren't.
Oh my gosh, Starsinger's Marine quoted.
Wow. I've never been so insulted in my life.
What abilities does Frackstone's dragon
Does
have?
Githsemane?
Fire.
Huh?
Yeah. Fire. But yeah, I think
If we added one of Githsemane's scales, it might help with the amount of magic we're going to be pouring into the game. Because dragons are highly resistant to it, and might change them from wild magic to something a little bit more controllable.
yeah, I don't know if I really like the idea of having a kid die just to heal them. Not that that was a bad idea. I just feel bad about it in a way,
Well, it's not like his soul would go anywhere right there. The God's right there. He's going to keep it here and for the body.
Yeah, but like, if you were a child, would you rather your body just be fixed, or would you rather die and then be fixed? I feel like that's an extra step. That's
Vitar.
Yo.
What do you think the way our animals, our pets, could help this child?
Well,
Companions.
It'll go one of two ways. It'll go precisely the way you think it'll go, or it'll only prolong the inevitable. The problem with the burnout, as you said, is that it is almost entirely physical. However, he like waves his hand, and you are given a glimpse through the magical spectrum, and you see that there is a roiling mass of unstable magic running through the child's channels. To Izumi, this looks like ki, like yin and yang. Um,
So like his chi.
his chi. There you go. To everyone else, at least to Frackstone, it's like the channels where the wellspring of magic pumps magic into that are formed when you're born. To Loki, this is all fucking nonsense. It just looks nice. Um, the vision goes away, and he says, even if you bring him back to what he was before, it'll simply make it all happen again.
So
But if we add a little bit of dragon to the mix,
well, I want you to ask yourself something first. What is his opinion?
yes, we should ask him.
You should probably ask him first before you try. And he walks over and he like puts his hand on the kid's shoulder, and he looks at you and he says, "Whenever you're ready, I can wake him up. You have like maybe a minute or two before he goes back to sleep."
all right, wake him up.
He
Yeah.
gently shakes him, and he like leans down and says, "Sev, you won't believe who's here." And the kid's eyes slowly open, and you can see that they're actually glowing blue, like a very vibrant, very pretty, or beautiful blue color. And he's like slowly wakes up. He just kind of like blinks really long, like for a very long time, and his eyes slowly travel down until he sees you at the base of his bed. Then his eyes look back up at Vitar, and he's like, "Is this a dream?" And Vitar
No,
says like,
Scott,
"No, bud."
I am Izumi, and these are my friends.
He just like looks at you as you speak. And he looks at Vitar, and he gets like this grin on his face. He's like, "I knew he talked like that." And Vitar's just like, "You sure did, bud." He like gets the pillows together and like lets them like lean up. Like he like comes to like a sitting position to some degree. He's got his like hands clasped in front of him, and he's looking at all of you, and you can feel the amount of excitement slowly building up in his body as he looks at each of you, and he says, "I've dreamed about you a lot, like
And
a
this is
lot,
my
a
best
lot."
friend Loki, and this is Crackstone. But
You don't
according
have
to
to
the
cut the
pictures
kid
on
off.
your wall, you know that already.
I know everything about you. I've spent all of my waking hours learning everything I could possibly ever need to know. Because
We have a
heroes like
question.
you need to be remembered.
I have a question for you.
Sure.
We came here to try to help you, to see if we could heal you. Do we have your permission?
He just kind of looks at Vitar, and he looks at you, and he says, "I've spent the last 8 years of my life in pain, slowly dying. I don't mind leaving. Lady Death has already sung to me a number of times. And to be frank, it'd be nice to hear the music a lot."
What if we have a way to tame the magic so you can control it and remove the pain from your body?
He just kind of like looks down at himself and says, "I've gotten so used to the roiling, the weird stuff going on in my belly to think of it not being there would be weird."
I'm not saying it wouldn't be there. I'm just saying you would have the ability to control it without it creating the situation you're in now.
I'd rather just not have magic at all.
I looked at Frackstone and his dragon. Is there a way to take that magic and put it into one of your scales?
Grisemi is like kind of gets like a very pensive look on her face and says, I mean, probably. But probably not one of my scales. Probably have to do a bit more. Like,
Choose.
I would say like 5. 6?
5
And you
scales?
see her like count on the 4 fingers of one hand and then the 5 on the other. And is like, then she like pricks up another one from the other one. Is like, 6 or 7. It's 7 would probably be the safest.
Hey, 7's my favorite number. Well, with your permission, Seth,
We'd like to try.
we'd like to try, and if it works, we'll bring you to our headquarters and introduce you to the rest of us.
He just kind of like smiles, and you see him have this kind of like distant look to his face as he says, I've had dreams like this before, where you come into my room, you tell me everything's going to be better. Then you do
Well, we don't know if it's going to be better.
Well, he's like, even as you answer, he's still like quietly speaking. He says, oh no, I've lost my train of thought. You come into my bedroom, you tell me everything's going to be better. You perform some fancy magic. And then I wake up again in pain. But I still draw a picture because the art is the only thing that keeps me sane. You read my letter right.
Yes.
That's why we're here.
So you know that I don't think any of this is real.
Well, we came so you know and you can see for yourself that it is real. Our pets are real. We're real.
That's
And we're really here to help you.
That's the problem. I've dreamed of this so many times that I can't imagine this actually happening. I can't believe it. Until I wake up and see that life is better or I'm dead, I don't have a possible way of assuming this will even work.
Will you let us try?
I can't stop you. And as far as my mind tells me, I'm just gonna wake up with the same pain.
And then he dozes off.
No, he just kind of like stares blankly, like a mixture of anticipation and hopelessness. Like it's not necessarily despair because he's accepted his lot in life, and he's just waiting now.
Okay, I hold my hand up for Gusemi to deposit the scales in.
You hear this as it's just like literally like popping them off, and she kind of deposits them in the palm of your hand, and she's like, "That wasn't as strange as I expected it to be. It was weird. You can have those." And she actually like stops you briefly, picks up one, and then like pops off another one and gives you that one instead, and takes the other one that she gave you. It's like that, but the scale is better looking. Sorry. You can see her like trying to like fit it back inside of the scale parts that she's taken off. Starsinger is staring at the puddle of previously chewed on crayons with like this pensive look on his face.
Don't.
He's kind of like jumps a little bit. He's like, "Oh, sorry."
Well, Kasai, will one feather be enough, or should we use more than one?
Well, I'll survive the whatever it is we do. So instead of just using a feather or a nail or whatever, just use me.
Okay.
I'll be the
Conduit?
confluence, the conduit, the thing that magic happens through.
Okay, I look to the god. I can't remember his name at the moment.
Vitar.
But and I'm like, where should I put these?
He just like looks at your hand, essentially holding glitter, and just kind of like looks around and is just like, I mean, he like sneezes into his hand, and suddenly there's a bowl, and puts it down on the kid in like front of the kid. The kid actually like kind of chuckles a little bit. And he's like, I didn't have to do it that way. It makes him laugh. And he like puts the bowl out in front of the kid and he's like, you put him in there.
Carefully put them in there.
Just like there's like the jingle of like metal going into the base of the bowl.
Would like Star Singer's like hair help? Like
He's
me?
gonna have to boop Kasai, he says.
Okay. Okay.
You're
Get ready
gonna,
to
That's gonna
boot.
be rainbow color for
you're
well,
gonna
this is
be you're gonna be a bit glowy and rainbowy, bruv. And the bird's just like, I had worse. I died this morning, so it's only uphill from here.
And I'm gonna pray to my God to help Kasai and the other pets. And I do have inspiration,
Uh-huh.
so I want to use one of my inspirations.
Well, it is now intent to die time.
Intent to die.
It is a straight D20.
Oh, so we just roll a d20?
Yep.
For everyone?
Oh, I have inspiration. Does that mean I get to re-roll that?
I will allow you to re-roll yours, and Andy, I will allow you to re-roll yours.
I don't think you need to
Frackstone
re-roll
doesn't
mine.
need anything.
No. Why am I sucking at this so bad?
Reroll it.
Can I use the inspiration to re-roll it?
Sure.
Okay. The inspiration is gone.
Ah.
What the fuck?
Can I
Can I
give her
use my inspiration to reroll hers?
We really want this kid to live.
I will allow it one more time, but that's it.
Damn, if roll 20 kills this kid, I'm gonna be mad. No.
I think my nat 20 levels out your 10.
And I got a 19, so
They're doing really good. I'm just over here like not
You
focused
like
enough.
you can feel all the magic pouring into like from Gersemi into the scales in front of Kasai, from Star Singer's horn, like his like body is like glowing white, sending that energy straight through Kasai. You see Kasai just slowly spread out into fire. You see that like the golden flames that he had invoked or she had invoked before slowly kind of like encircling around the boy. It's getting so bright that you can't even watch. You have to turn away. Even like Vitar is having trouble paying attention to what's going on in the inside. And after a brilliant cascade of multiple colors of energy flashing around the room, of beautiful like jingling of bells, of the singing of birds, We leave it at a cliffhanger.
No.
No.
It's 11:30.
No.
No cliffhanger. Come on.
It's
Nah.
11:24.
Nope. We're stopping the episode now, and we're continue on next week.
You are a horrible, horrible person.
Yes. I thrive off of your anger and your hate.
Oh, Asai is not happy.
Kasai is currently on fire.
Well, no. Azumi is not happy.
There you go.
Azumi is currently on fire.
Azumi might be on fire. Azumi is going to Dungeon Master's house and knocking on doors.
I've got his address.
Sure does. Say goodbye to the YouTubes, everybody.
Goodbye,
Bye, YouTube.
Bye-bye, YouTubers.
Bye.
See you next week.